Boys is getting quiet. Go on and get crunk. Head back to Longview, Kelly popping trunk. I ain't even tripping. Riding and I'm sipping. Let me come through 4-4 steady tipping. On that new lap. Watch the trunk crack. Let me sit sideways, CB running back. Maybe AP, maybe AD. I ain't even tripping cause we some athletes. Messing with Smitty in the summertime. He get pissed if we don't make our time. But we gon' get it cause we gotta finish. Nebraska Horn Hustlers, man, we diminish. Put them boys little, paint like a skittle. I ain't even tripping, I ain't never double dribble. Cause I'm a player from the Himalaya. Let me sit sideways, man. Maybe back door, maybe fall off. Sipping codeine cause I gotta kill a cough. Let me sit sideways in the big Benz. Oh, you boys, they my brothers, they my friends.
All right, welcome back to Fullback U, and my brothers made it back, and it's 5 o'clock somewhere, fellas. I mean, golly, I got to drink to this one. It's been a long night. Yeah. But PJ Mills, how you feeling?
Not too good after last night. That was hard to watch.
Rufus, how are you?
I'm doing all right, man. Shit, I watched the game. Hey, I've been a part of getting my ass kicked, man, and
trust me, I have
it's sobering, and it's you understand it, but man, like I said, I'm doing all right, man. It wasn't me out there that had to go and put that on film and put that out there for the world to see. So I'm doing good. I'm a fan that loves my team and want them to play better.
That's why it hurts. I love, you know what I mean? You would think when you're not playing anymore, it's almost like it's worse now.
Yeah.
Like, because there's nothing you can do about it. Cheers. You just got to watch there and just
sit there and watch it. Yeah. Just get your head beat in and watch it.
And then, and being around young kids too, they associate you with getting your ass. Oh, you played it. So you got your ass. You're like, dude.
And Twitter, like, man, Oklahoma never had defense.
Now, I wanted to slap the shit out of people.
Who the hell is that person?
Those are 12
We
years.
got to get into that.
Yeah. Oh,
well,
wow.
but unfortunately, there's adults that slick talk on that shit, PJ, all the time. I mean, dog. Again, if they would have. Say that shit coming in as an incoming freshman in 2002 with 9, 10, 11 guys that are over there getting drafted.
They don't know history.
Yeah. Come say that shit.
Yeah, but still at the same lines, LSU would have talked shit to us when we was in school. It would have been like shit when we would have saw each other. It was like, nah, it would have been like on. We ain't doing no 3-on-3 basketball stuff and we talking like we cool. I mean, we would have looked at these fools like, man, what's up then? Because it would have been on.
You called somebody slow. Calling a fast guy slow is like calling a big guy soft.
Yeah, no
Am
doubt.
I right, PJ?
No doubt.
You fast?
No doubt.
PJ, how did it feel? Explain to me what happened last night. I'm a fan. I didn't see the game. What happened?
You just saw one team that was severely better than the other. Listen, everything in football starts at the line of scrimmage. To me, your offensive line and defensive line gives you your versatility and gives you your They give you
attitude,
right? And like if you're on offense, if the O line is able to be proficient in run blocking and pass blocking, it opens up the playbook. But if you're not proficient in either, or you're not physically tough enough or connected enough to maybe not win most of the battles, but be able to be in most of the battles, and you got to run a quarterback. It just didn't happen last night. We played a much better team, a more talented team. And, when we was on with you last, we both unfortunately said that we were going to lose, but I didn't think it was going to be that wide of a margin. That was hard. I mean, it was like 60-something points.
Let me know. What's up, Ru?
I said 70. We sitting at the house with Jake. I was watching it with Jason Carter.
Oh, that's what's up.
Me and Candy was watching it, and I was like, no, after that first half, I said, man, LSU going to put 70 on it. He said 70? I'm like, nah, man, they gonna make some adjustment. I'm like, bro, you have a feeling. And you look at guys, man, you make a tackle and nobody having nobody like Ron at nobody. I mean, I would have been, it's just a different time in how Oklahoma kids, they're so, I don't even know how to explain it. They're so chivalrous. They're like, man, yeah, it's all good. We'll come out there, LSU a good team or whatever. I mean, I'm Kenneth Murray. I'm like, bro, I want to talk about LSU. I want to talk about my team. I ain't got nothing to say about them. I mean, Burrow won the Heisman. I mean, they don't have nothing good to say about me. I don't have nothing good to say about them.
I want to get my boy Heisman back, Torrance Marshall style. Yeah,
I'm not talking no, hey, praise and here and all this and that stuff. I'd have been like, bro, I want to talk about them. They have no respect for me. I have no respect for them, and that's it. We're gonna play a game. Everybody, but you want to have this whole respect thing. I want to give respect when respect is given. And I mean, when we played against USC, they was respectful. We was respectful. We went in there and they played the game, and we had some shit that went the wrong way. That happened. This LSU game, those guys came in with the attitude of like, man, I'm coming in this game to fuck y'all up.
Dominate. Use
I'm
it
coming
in the
to dominate. They use it.
in the pregame interviews.
Everything they said, well, we coming in here to dominate.
Y'all slow.
We you know, and I mean, Creed Humphrey didn't have his best game. He let the nose tackle had a better game on Creed Humphrey. He's our guy.
They were better everywhere.
They controlled the line of scrimmage. Ely, I think, was probably the one offensive lineman that kind of held his own on the right side. And I mean, he reached whenever he was supposed to reach. He bucket stepped, got the edge when they were supposed to get the edge. I mean, everything that they wanted to do, they were all good on one side. But Tyrese Robertson had a bad game. Even the other guard had a bad game. They wasn't picking up simple twists and stuff. Yeah. He wasn't sitting back. I mean, Beanbo has a lot of work to do as well as a coach himself, because that offensive line didn't perform. They had one or two guys that looked like they belonged on the field with LSU.
Right.
Wide receiver wise, you have guys all over the place wide receiver wise, but up front, I mean, they didn't look the part at all.
You know the program better than anybody. Explain and bless the kid's heart, and I'm going to explain why I even said that afterwards, because he is an Oklahoma kid. You already know where I'm going with that. Explain our safety situation to everybody over the past 2 or 3 years, really.
Well, I mean, you look at the safety situation, you know, you don't get your top guys that's in Oklahoma. You miss on the Proctor, you miss on the Hill.
Which is another story. Hey, I'd love to hear your opinions on that. But
you miss on those guys. And so then you have guys that's not where they're supposed to be. I mean, Brawls is a good kid. He works hard. But, I mean, he can't play in space. He doesn't cover very well. And he struggled. He struggled all year long. There was a reason why he was a backup guy and was a guy that you can play sparingly. I mean, in the game, they had to take that man from safety and put him down at the nickel and took a true freshman, put him at free safety. That tells you where you kind of at that position. Because, I mean, like Grinch said when he came here, you come to Oklahoma and you don't expect to see what you see at a University of Oklahoma in the secondary and in the defensive line and at the linebackers position. Because they don't have, I mean, after you get past Caleb Kelly, after you get past Kenneth Murray, after you get past Deshaun White, where you go? I mean, you got Draper that's back there. He hasn't been healthy a full season yet since he's been to Oklahoma. You have Meade, a walk-on, as your backup middle linebacker. He's a walk-on that got a scholarship. And he went in the first game, he went in the first play, and he went over the other side of the gap and left a wide-open gap, and the guard didn't even move or leave. And went get blocked to let a guy get a straight-ahead run down the gap. I mean, those are the guys that's your backup guys. And like I said, Justin Brawls was a highly rated kid coming out.
4-star at Oklahoma.
4-star out of Oklahoma. And that kid is not performing at what he's supposed to be performing at. But you don't get the 5-star kid that's supposed to be here. And you don't have any 5-stars. Turner Yield being out of the game. Turner Yield back into the season was one of the best progresses that I've seen as a safety, getting better. Because, I mean, that man came in and
balling.
He was hitting Chuba Hubbard like a grown-ass man. He was tapping Chuba Hubbard.
Yeah.
And even when they played against Baylor, when he came in and made a tackle on the wide receiver on the outside, they felt him. And so to lose him in a game like that, that's tough. So you don't have your best pass rusher, your best safety in a game against the best offense in the country. That's hard to go ahead and say, hey, man, we got to go out there and fight and put everything out there. And that goes back to the discipline side of it. How does Ronnie Perkins get in that situation?
Yeah, I will say, and go ahead, but big of him, he actually DM'd me and apologized to me on Twitter, which I thought was huge. Ronnie Perkins did. Oh. Pulling me out as an old head, which I think there's a few of us that speak with a lot of former players. I had to put that out there that was big for a 19-year-old kid to do.
It's big for him to do, but man, you got this is what this kid gotta really grow up from, because it's gonna be something a cloud that's gonna hang over his head, and he's gonna feel so bad for letting his team down. But you can't go into a game missing that kid,
man.
Because he is a difference maker.
He's
and
awesome.
You saw it all year long. He was an unblockable kid, and he was coming into his own. And that's the discipline side of Oklahoma that you have to kind of like say, man, what's going on? Top kid not playing. That's tough to overcome.
You know, so much of football and so much of life is decision making.
Correct.
So he made a bad decision. We understand that. He's owning it. I can only speak for me. When I was in college, I made some bad decisions. Some didn't people didn't know about, so but it's a judgment thing, and we have to grow as athletes, but a lot of times we have to grow as people, and hopefully he grows from this aspect of it. And I think he will.
I think he'll be better. He's going to be better.
Oh,
from
absolutely.
It.
And he'll be real hungry next year.
We got to come back to the weed talk.
Will he? Is he suspended for 6 games?
That's a great question. I don't know. I didn't get into it with him. Honestly, I'll tell you what I told him, Roof. I just said, look, there was a lot of us that played with fire. You already laughing.
But he got to
literally. No, you're right.
He got to talk to the old heads and know how to get by that.
Exactly.
I mean, shit. It's like the easiest thing.
I just told him that, look, you have to bounce back from this. I said I'm not mad at you now. I would be mad at him if he doesn't bounce back from this, because we at OU, you got old heads around you that fucking. You obviously hit me up because you know I care, and because you know that it probably affected me and us and how we feel and your teammates, and you feel it's like shit. But you also have to realize some of these awards around here came from my ass saying no. To a lot of people, and saying, hey, I can't right now, or making that right decision. Because
every team's going to get tested around. They're going to get some of the stars. When they got to come to the playoff time, they're going to get some of the stars on every team, and they're going to test all the stars. Absolutely. Pretty much. That's pretty much how it goes.
Let's get into, so I'm thinking of how I want to lead into this, but you kind of talked about, you went through the roster of Jordan Kelly being a good player. We mentioned Broyles, obviously. Let's get to PJ on the Oklahoma recruiting scene. There's nobody that follows it more closely than me, PJ.
Right.
I think our coaches think that we don't have sufficient enough talent in Oklahoma. We're almost like a third world country out here when it comes to recruiting. They hear about 1 or 2 guys a year that they really go look for, and there's players elsewhere. What do you think of the players we're recruiting from Oklahoma? What do you think of the players we're recruiting on the team? What do we have to do? How far is what we saw yesterday? Is that talent gap
big
real?
Talent gap. Talent gap is big. I don't say that with pride. I hate to say that. I haven't played in a long, long time, but I care and watch every game that I possibly can. And I hate when we lose. And I don't hate it from a standpoint of who's going to call and make fun and jokes. I don't care about all that stuff. That's just part of the game. It's part of going back and forth.
Hell yeah.
I hate that my program is not where it's supposed to be. And saying that, I'm not trying to diminish getting to the Final Four 4 out of 6 times. I'm not diminishing that. But I'm saying we don't have what we need going into those situations. We don't have the talent to beat the teams that we have to play to win that national championship. We don't. Right? Like this year, this team wasn't as talented as a couple of the ones before with Kyler and Baker. You had Hollywood Brown, Mark Andrews, you had more, right?
But your offensive line was
right. Yeah. So you had an but I'm saying a complete team.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying every line of scrimmage, linebackers, secondary. I'm not saying everybody has to be 5.
Yeah.
Right. Offense and defense, yeah. But you want to have confidence that they're going to do their job. Yeah. Level-wise, and then we see what happens. But in many cases, the last couple of years, we pretty much knew the O-line was going to do their job. When they got to that Final Four, it got a little harder.
It did.
So even the best part of us wasn't necessarily giving us that much of an advantage.
Right.
And that's where it is. We're in the Big 12, obviously. So it's harder than some of the people outside of the conference think it is, but it's not as hard as the Big Ten and the SEC.
Right.
So I'm not saying it's easy to win. It's never easy to win any conference. I love it when we're winning the conference. But we have to be aware that I don't want to recruit to a conference. Right. I want to recruit to being the best we possibly can be, and whoever we meet, we're ready for.
Right.
And that's where the evaluation. Listen,
that's
if there's somebody in Oklahoma that's a Division I guy that can make a difference, we may not get all of them. But we need to have multiple conversations and multiple times we're going out and watching them and showing them
that we love them.
That we know about you. We want you here.
Correct.
And then when we have enough people that are interested in coming here, then we can pick. He's better, but both want to come. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're not going to get everybody in your state. You're not going to get everybody you want. We all know that. But we need to get consistently better than what we have. Because I don't remember the last time we had a complete defense.
It's been a long time, bro. I mean, you
And
go.
obviously, I'm being a little facetious, but it's been a while
But
since
you
we
go-
had a D-line, linebacker, secondary that we felt comfortable with. I'm not saying you're going to have Ed Reed,
But even
Ray Lewis.
yeah,
and
but
I'm not
even
saying that.
but even with saying that though, you saying in a roundabout way, like you go into the LSU game, who does LSU have to slide to on the defensive line?
Where did we have the advantage against LSU going in that game? We
Just
didn't.
nowhere.
We didn't have the advantage anywhere.
So Rufus, that's what Rufus is saying.
Yeah, we didn't have the
just play
advantage
their base.
anywhere.
When I studied him, Ruf, I said they're going to line up in the same thing, fucking first and second down. They're not going to change.
They don't need to.
They might blitz a little bit. They might bring Queen a little bit, but they're not going to blitz. They're just going to line up, attack the line of scrimmage, keep the fucking corners within 5-10 yards of you, and force you to make deep throws and beat them.
Right, and they knew Jalen Hurts could not make those throws. He couldn't make any of those throws. But even the defensive line, like you couldn't say even in the safety position. Well, I'm gonna lock this guy up and I'm gonna roll coverage here or there to help this guy who's not who's gonna struggle. You couldn't do that. You didn't have a guy that you can play on the back end. You didn't have a defensive lineman in the front end that said, well, if he has this much time, I know he can win against this guy. If I can bring in and make sure that he's one-on-one right here, he can win. We didn't have no guy that could win on a one-on-one. We don't have a guy that you can bring up the middle to say I'm gonna create a mismatch on a running back by getting this guy to where he comes in the middle and I know he's gonna have a mismatch. We didn't have none of those guys. And you play against an LSU, you got to be able to create a mismatch somewhere defensively that gives LSU pause and make them worry about somebody. You don't have that. Even offensively, they wasn't worried about our running back because Kennedy Brooks is he's a work hard. He'll make one guy miss. He'll get the first down and all that stuff. But you wasn't worried about his breakaway speed. No. You wasn't worried about him coming out of the backfield, creating a mismatch, getting in and out of a route so you can go 5 wide. None of that stuff. Whenever you had a Joe Mixon, you knew, shit, if Joe Mixon lined up outside, Joe Mixon gonna run a slant that he gonna make something happen. Right, if he gets the ball in his hand, it's a problem.
Absolutely.
If Joe Mixon is lined up on a linebacker and he goes on a go route, if they don't have a safety over the top, shit, you better put the ball in front of Joe Mixon because he's gonna outrun that linebacker. We don't have that guy on that. We don't have that guy that's right there. CeeDee Lamb's that other guy. And Charleston Rambo is supposed to be one of those guys. And Charleston, he just didn't. I mean, dude had 8 yards to make a first down, and he did 5 moves and he was 1 yard short. Yeah. How you don't those things like that is like, man, you love that kid. He got speed, but shit, go get the first down. Different things like that. We don't have that breakaway guy, but CeeDee Lamb's the only guy, and we couldn't even get the ball to him on a wide open slant.
Beyond the breakaway shit, Roof, I knew on a run early in the game. First of all, how many runs did you see us try between the tackles the other day?
Not many. Everything's to the outside.
How many successful runs did you see between the tackles?
1 or 2, but it was Jalen Hurts keeping the ball.
Read stuff, and he reads and slices. And then how many runs did you see off that? Those were similar running lanes that he had in the Big 12, but the guys that closed the space he didn't make miss.
Right.
He made a miss once.
One time. But you look at those plays on the zones on the outside. You could watch the game and look at it and say, well, they should probably run the zone to the right because they had the Chase kid was on the left, and the defensive end on the right was where you needed to go.
Their DNs were so good.
Right? But no, but I watched Ely get to the outside on the guy on the defensive end, right? But you had Chase on the other side, and they ran towards that guy. He made the play on that. You can't. LSU kind of showed where they was leaning their offense to, and you could pick them apart by how you was doing it. But we just kind of went with the same. We just had nothing different to kind of adjust for what they were doing. And then you would allow Delpit to come into the box instead of keeping him out by putting the receiver going wider with your receivers instead of getting Hall on the inside. I like Hall, but when they brought Hall in the game, LSU they played Delpit down, and they closed it. They got a little bit tighter with their coverage and said, well, Jalen Hurts gonna have to beat us deep. I would have did the same damn thing.
Right.
I'd have crowded the line and came up and said, you know what? So I would have if I'm Lincoln Riley, I'd have went Stogner. I'd have put Stogner out there, and I'm gonna put him on the sideline. I'm gonna go with my big
trying
tall
to get some
tight
jump
end.
balls. That's where I said sideline group. I said that before the game. I thought that Art and people laugh, but I thought that running between the tackles, obviously fullback being in the game, and if we can still run with their safety up in the guy, because we have to block people.
Right.
throwing the ball towards the sidelines because they're manned up, and the only people that we have the advantages on are tall, skinny CD, Stogner, Willis.
Right.
To me, we didn't rush for 100 yards. They rushed for 200. They threw for 430 in the first half. Let's just get into that.
They did what they wanted.
PJ,
I'm gonna get a knife from the
Yeah.
sideline. I'm gonna cut somebody's shin.
shit, I'm gonna need another beer. James, go give me another beer.
I'm gonna cut somebody Achilles or something. Shit.
If I told you before the game that Joe Burrow was going to throw for 7 touchdowns and 430 yards in the first half, what would you have said? And then after seeing it, what happened? What do you feel?
I would have said shit.
Both of y'all.
The game over.
Would you have believed it
That
though?
was hard to watch. And it looked easy.
I wouldn't have believed it because Oklahoma hadn't given up a 300-yard thrower in a game.
Good God.
It looked easy though. That's like it looked like they could have done even more.
Oh yeah, they could have
You
got.
know what I mean? Like that was the thing. It was 7. He probably could have got 10.
Yeah.
They're good.
Yeah.
They're a really good team. He deserved a Heisman. Get all that. There shouldn't be that big a difference
I agree.
between us and them.
I agree because
I
our
can
kids
take
should
a
be
loss.
playing. Yeah.
Yeah,
I get it. Yeah.
You just want to be competitive. I said you want to be competitive.
But
We
our
look
kids,
like we didn't belong on the field with them.
Yeah.
there's 75 Louisiana kids on that roster. There's 75 Oklahoma and Texas kids on that roster, on Oklahoma's roster.
Right.
75 and 75. You're right. They shouldn't be that much
Shouldn't
fucking
be that
better.
big a difference. Yeah.
But unfortunately, that's why James's ass plays center and D tackle right now. Okay? If I fucking throw it, I want his ass to play a big position.
Right.
We have to have those kids. Roof, you had them. You had them. How big of an influence was Corey Klein on you?
I didn't
Dan
have
Cody. Oh,
yeah.
you played him for 1
Yeah,
year.
KK, yeah.
KK for 1 year. Dan Cody. Some of those got Teddy Lehman. If you can't roll out a defense, the what I'm seeing, y'all, and where I was getting to that, if our kids can't play big boy football with Louisiana kids, how we expect to play with Alabama and Clemson kids? If our kids growing up can't play safety and cover kids, can't play D tackle and get off a block, can't play fullback and block somebody, we in fucking trouble.
That's true. I mean, but you don't have, and Neville Gallimore was somebody that had to show up in the middle. And I mean, he didn't get any kind of pressure anywhere. And I mean, and Neville is that kid that can, he was supposed to be a difference maker at the D-line position. D tackle is something. And he don't garner a double team or anything.
What people, and Ruth, please speak to this. What people are wanting to hear is what we did. Take this 3-star guy and mold him into this first-round draft pick. Go ahead. I hit a nerve.
I just want people to get away from the star concept altogether. I understand the concept. I'm sick of hearing it.
Yeah.
He's a 5-star. Man, I don't care.
Can he play?
Can he play? Right? Can he play? That's what. Find talented players. Watch them play. You have to be able to project what you and them can do together, developing, and how can you stack the talent? You win in most cases when you have an offensive, defensive unit that obviously has a first team and a second team, so you have some depth. You have coaches who know what to do with that depth, and you have the schemes and you have the mental and physical toughness to actually play this game the way it's supposed to be played.
I mean, I'm surprised.
We don't have the players we need, and this is not knocking anybody.
Yep.
It's not knocking anybody. We don't have the players we need once we get to that situation.
Before you get to it, your boy Isaiah Simmons was a 3-star out of Kansas. It says recruited by Brent Venables. He was the number 30. He was number 3 in his state.
What was Teddy? What was Teddy Lane?
Teddy had to be top 3-4 player in the state.
Yeah.
Right.
I want.
So
remind me.
you get that right, and then what was Broyles in there?
Broyles was top 5 player in the state.
Right. So you can get top 5 players, right? Okay. So then what was Baker?
Ooh, good question.
Baker's probably had to be a 3 or 4. Yeah,
He
I
was
don't think he was.
3-star, I think.
Yeah, he's a 3-star.
Right. So
Maybe a 2.
a 5-star can get busy, is where I'm going to, and a 3-star can get busy. I don't care about the stars. As a recruiter, I know Kel can do it. I'm biased. He was my quarterback when I was there. Love him to death. As recruiters,
Shit, wait. You talk about the Kel situation.
Okay.
Look at Kel Gundy's. His resume of what he recruited here at Oklahoma.
Oh, he's ridiculous. He's
my guy.
ridiculous.
Look at his resume, though.
He's ridiculous.
DeMarco Murray.
That's my guy.
AD.
I'm repping
AD.
him. That's my guy.
Mixon.
Tashard Choice. Joe Mixon.
Then switch him to another
Samaje
position.
Perine.
And look what he did then.
But I'm saying, but you look at the running backs that he got in.
Yeah.
Those were, I mean, bro, those are
I'm repping
game-changing,
my boy, I know.
dynamic running backs.
Yes, no doubt.
Tashard Choice had to leave, bro, and go somewhere else and
Still
play.
made pros.
He was a good player.
And he still made the pros. And he was, I watched
Really good.
Tashard Choice, and he could, hard back to tackle, fall forward, everything that you want out of a running back. But damn, you have this phenomenal phenom that comes in, and he's like, damn, I have to make a move. I have to bounce.
The problem I see is our Oklahoma kids. This is not a knock on our coaches. This is what I'm trying to do. We have to have more D tackles, O linemen, front seven, defensive players here locally. When our recruiting was best, Bob Stoops would lock down 15, 20 guys.
Where does Wes Sims come from?
Hold on. Let me get to it. He would lock down 15, 20 guys. Of those 15 or 20, one or two would be the top Oklahoma guys, the top 2 Oklahoma guys.
Correct.
The last 4 or 5, he would go find ballers. Those little 3, he found JD. Those were, he was filling in roster spots with guys that ended up becoming draft picks.
Right.
Those were the overachievers. But right now, Roof, we don't have one. No, Tommy Harris was a different D tackle.
Correct.
There's no Tommy Harrises in Texas anymore. None. If they are, they're in A&M's top 5, and they likely go to the SEC.
Correct.
So, 2, we don't have Oklahoma D tackles. You mentioned it. We have Jordan Kelly and Q Overton. Jinx and Union. Just so happens to be. Jinx and Union ain't pumping D tackles and no linemen out like that no more.
Right.
They're just not. So in Oklahoma, I love Carl Albert to death. We're not pumping. We're the king of 5'11", 250-pound guys. If they were 4 inches taller, you would get them, but they're too short.
Right.
It's just how it happens. Your dominant programs around here, we don't consistently have coaches that can come to several programs, great programs, well coached, tons of kids, and get certain positions. Go ahead.
There's 2 backs in Oklahoma. The Dominique Richardson kid,
A baller.
Nick Baller. He's going to TCU. Right. Mm-hmm. You have the other kid. What is he? I forgot his
They're
name.
gonna be a problem too in the near future.
What's the kid's name? He's out of Tulsa.
Sevion Morrison.
Sevion Morrison.
Mm-hmm. You know I know him.
Nice.
Yeah, he's nice going to Nebraska.
I'm saying, look. I mean, I would have given one of the scholarships to Nick before I would have went and chased after the
They
other
love
kid.
Nick. They loved him.
Bro, I'm talking about full on, can run through you, make you miss.
Mike
all
Wood's
that stuff.
nephew. Mike Wood's nephew.
Hey, look, I watched this kid.
Joe.
I watched this kid play from little league all the way up.
Yeah, dog.
And his thing is, the kid is a constant worker, all day, every day, work hard kid.
Where's he going?
Going to
TCU.
TCU.
Why ain't he coming
He's
over
gonna be a problem.
Well, and then
Why
again,
you not coming over
PJ, even one, OSU was there evaluating him, which is a big thing because OSU don't evaluate just everybody. 2, why are we not looking at him? 3, why are we not looking at the kids that make plays against him?
right.
I mean, if we have, I've told my coach, I called you right after. Dude, my high school as a kid, Javion Trailer. There's no reason this fucker should not have Tulsa. Sorry, I shouldn't cuss around the kid, but there's no reason he should not at least have Tulsa. There's no reason. OSU, they were there at the game. I guarantee you somebody's going to come after him after what he did those few games. Mm-hmm. But again, we're not in that phase anymore. Our coaches don't care about Oklahoma football like that anymore. No offense, people, they don't think Oklahoma's that good. They will look at a few linemen if they hear you making some crazy noise, and it backfires on us when we get Proctor, Dax Hill, and all those other guys in Tulsa that are like, hey, you know what? You ain't even like that with DB. They ain't trying to come up here and get me and a bunch of my homeboys. They trying to, I'm going to just go up there. Or maybe it's the big network. Or whatever it is, we didn't miss those guys when Mike and BV were in their prime. We didn't miss D tackles. When we gambled, you asked what the difference is in Clemson. I guarantee you the difference is when BV goes around and has scholarships late, one, he can find D tackles and D ends in his home state. That's huge.
That's the thing.
That's huge.
That's the thing.
Louisiana, you can find D ends and 5-star guys at D end and D tackle. That's huge. If you can only do that, PJ, in my opinion, in about 5 states.
Now, when we're talking about BV,
4 maybe.
who's doing a phenomenal job over there, we're also talking about Clemson's always had really good players there.
Yeah.
The difference is,
Very true.
do you have the right guys who are going out with the right message, the consistency to develop a relationship, right? Clemson didn't just start having good players. I mean, South
Very
Carolina
true.
didn't just start having good players around that area. They got Dabo Swinney and they got Brent Venables. That's a formidable combination. And they are on one accord, and they said, we're going to have a presence in this state. You're going to at least see us. Come check on you. You know what I'm saying? And then we're going to evaluate who we need, who we can get.
The first person Dabo hugged is BV.
Yeah. but the crazy thing about it, though, you look like who's evaluating our talent, who's out there at your. I mean, you go to Alabama and you can go around Alabama and look at and find what you call them now. What are they? Consultants, analysts, whatever
Coach
it is.
Mike.
He's not even Coach Mike.
All right.
I mean, it's former players at
Right,
Alabama.
right.
There's
Yep,
former
yep.
players all over Alabama.
Yep.
You go to LSU, there's former LSU players all over the place. They're just consultants, they're analysts or whatever they are. And they're always around the kids, showing kids little tricks and trades to all of it. I mean, you go to Alabama, shit, Trenton Richardson was out there practicing with Alabama
Yep.
because he's a former player. He's out there running back stuff.
Giving them looks.
You see Trent Richardson giving you a look?
Yeah.
Top 5
That's
pick.
big.
Top 5, that's a different thing. You know, it's welcoming for the program. But you come here, there's a lot of compliance stuff and different things that go around over here that it's just kind of like OU almost kind of like penalize themselves so they don't get penalized for something that everybody else in the country's doing.
Great wording.
Yeah, that's true.
And I mean, Clemson has those same guys. They're guys all over Clemson that's just analysts and guys that look at film, that see guys. Dude, I was in Louisiana playing at a 2A school in Baton Rouge. You know how I got looked at by BV? I went to a basketball camp at Texas. And my high school coach said, hey, I have a kid here that's a recruit. Look at his, do you have any tape? Did he recruit any player at his high school? Michael Clayton went to play at LSU. Texas was looking at him, and I was on Michael Clayton's film, and they was like, holy crap. They pulled in SUVs, everything, took my whole team, and we all went visit the University of Texas.
Wow.
Dude, I was at a 2A school. I never talked to rivals. I never did any camps. I never went to any. Only camp I went to a Alabama camp and went to an A&M camp because Tor Bush and all those guys at Alabama was looking at me and stuff. That's the only camp I ever went to, and all I did was run. I didn't do nothing else. I clowned around and hung out the rest of the time. Never did anything else. But when I went on a recruiting trip to Texas, the day after I came back from my recruiting trip, BV was in our office the Monday. I came back on my recruiting trip, came back, was it Sunday or Saturday I came back? He had called me Sunday, said he will be in the office on Monday to watch my film because I did not commit to Texas. He said, well, what the hell who's this kid that's going to Texas and didn't commit? Linebacker, he sat down in the room and he looked at my tape, put it on, saw a few plays, and I ran a kid down. I got cut on the offense on the line of scrimmage, got up, ran 50 yards, tackle a kid. Next play, I caused the fumble, and he said, turn the tape off. You bet anybody we recruit and want to offer. We want to see if you'll come on a trip. It all happened in a 2-week span. That all happened. I was at Oklahoma the next weekend on my recruiting trip, back home, said, man, you know what? I'm going to Oklahoma.
So, and when you get there, so for Marcus Spears, who don't want to hear about fucking defense anymore, when you get there, right, Tommy Harris is a first-round draft pick.
Correct.
Dusty goes third round.
Correct.
You got Jimmy Wilkerson, who leaves early and
And
plays
Dusty's
in the league.
third round shit was more Dusty's fault.
Jimmy Wilkerson leaves early and goes to the league. JJ goes free agent. His backup, Dan Cody, goes second round. Burdon goes free agent. Teddy goes second round, wins the bucket. So you got two other 5-star in Pasha and Lance. You got a first-round draft pick in Woolfolk. You got Straight, who wins the Thorpe.
But then Rodney went, first round, second round?
You got those back there. So,
Perkins, another first or second round?
There you go. We've played defense before. The depth, Roof. The depth, PJ. The depth.
The starters ain't there.
Dude, when I came here, BV told me in my face, unless you do something remarkable, son, you're going to redshirt. On my recruiting trip. But he said, this is what that man said, straight to my face. He said, if you can come here, you can compete with the best, and if you're able to start here, you're going to the league. It's just like that, straight face. No bullshit, nothing. Just looked at me straight and said, man, you're going to redshirt unless you do something remarkable, because it was those guys that was in front of you that you can say, hey, come here, do this, and then I got you. If you can go ahead and compete with these guys, bro, you're going to be it.
So my thing, PJ, with you, I'm with you on a lot of the star things, because I think a lot of us are saying the same thing. I don't mind if the Simmons kid's a 3-star and you come here and the motherfucker ends up playing 7 positions on defense and ends up becoming a top 10 pick.
But how do you not evaluate
Awesome.
6'5", 4'3"?
Right.
Hard to miss.
It's hard to miss.
Hard to miss.
6'5", 4'3".
Yeah, no doubt.
Hey, man, I'm going to take a gamble on that guy.
No doubt. My thing, Ruth, and y'all can comment on this, the only position that I truly care about having a 5-star is D-tackle. I think they get it right at D-tackle. I think they know who the best D-tackles are in the country, and we have to have 5 or 4-star.
You don't normally miss on a 5-star D-tackle. We probably maybe the only school that missed on 5-star defensive end and D-tackles. Because Ron Tatum was a 4 or 5-star.
Yeah.
I mean, Washington was a 4 or 5-star. Was a 5-star.
Mm-hmm.
The Walker kid that quit because of concussions or whatever, he was a 5-star. And they didn't do much of anything when they were here. Jordan Phillips, I think, was a 5-star.
Yeah, left early. And he really didn't perform here at Oklahoma. I mean, and Jackie Shipp was really high on the kid. I don't think he even was that high of a star, because he was playing down the street in Kansas, I believe it was, as well. But just a big, massive guy. Mm-hmm. But you look at the Gerald McCoys and those guys all developed, and they were 5-stars coming out. Gerald McCoy was a 5-star. He was one of the biggest gets out of Oklahoma. And I remember when it happened, whenever he signed and everything. It was big time. Huge. So before, I want to ask you this. Okay. Give me, since Gerald, you can't use Gerald, top 5 D tackles we've had at OU.
Yeah, you go first.
Top 5 D tackles?
Since Gerald.
I don't know if I'm going to get to 5.
We haven't had one since Gerald. I think Jordan Phillips was the only kid after Gerald McCoy that was good, and he had a bad back, which kind of hampered him a lot.
You had Lampkin. You had probably Stacey McGee. Didn't McGee play D tackle?
McGee's
had a good run.
King was also as well. Was another
King played a little bit.
Played a little bit. He played for the Raiders.
Yeah,
he moved around the league for a little bit.
So, I mean, you've had guys.
You had 2 or 3,
but you just haven't had elite.
What I've seen the last few years is we'll have a corner and a D tackle.
Before you go
ahead.
I'm just surprised that Neville Gallimore didn't become that guy. Because, I'm telling you, for a big guy, the dude can move. He has hands. He has speed off the line. How did he not become a guy? I don't know. That was a shocking thing to me throughout his whole career here at Oklahoma. That's shocking to me. He never became, a force to be reckoned with.
I thought he was going to be something much more as well.
Yeah, but go ahead.
No, I was just saying. When are we
in the safety?
Right, but when are we going to have a complete defense? I'm not saying they have to be 5-stars. I'm saying they have to be All-Americans at each position. When is the last time you saw a defense where you felt comfortable on each level? D-line, linebackers, secondary.
Let's see,
that you felt comfortable. I ain't saying it got to be great.
Like 08, 09.
Yeah, because when you had Curtis, you had.
Oh, he left 07.
Yeah, but you had Curtis, you had Gerald, you had Aaron Colvin. No, you didn't have Aaron Colvin. You had Reggie. You had Dominique Franks. You had, who was the 2 safeties? I forgot the 2 safeties you had back there, but you was pretty solid throughout the whole
But you also said, you just said Oklahoma. Who's the corner you said? Did you say Colvin or
Colvin?
Franks?
No, it's Darren Franks. It was Franks Reggie,
Oklahoma
kid. Reggie, Oklahoma kid.
Oklahoma kid.
You look at the middle linebacker, Curtis Lofton, Oklahoma kid. Middle of the field. Again, you look right there, you had freaking Gerald McCoy. You had Gerald McCoy, but on the outside of it, you had R.J. Washington, who was a 5-star defensive end that didn't amount to anything. That was there with Gerald McCoy.
Now, what year was that?
That was 07.
07.
You know BV as well as anybody, Ruth. Did he get tired? Flat out fans are going to love this shit. Did he get tired? When I think of BV, Teddy's Fort Gibson, Austin Box was in it, RIP. He found Ronnell Lewis was fucking doer. Whatever the hell. I've never even been there.
Was he wasn't even, what was that, 8-man or something?
Right.
Yeah, he was 8-man.
8-man.
But
crazy thing is,
to your point, he found 8-man guys.
I saw Ronnell Lewis in, we did a football camp and he came to it. Massive, dude. He was massive in high school. Yeah. And they went and got him in 8-man football.
Did BB get tired of searching Oklahoma like that? Was it all about the money for him leaving?
No.
Was it about recruiting
He had
just
to go.
easier
No,
for them?
I don't
He
think.
had to go.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, because.
And I'm not saying anything he did wrong. I ain't mean to cut you off.
No, you good. He had to go. Yeah.
Mike Stoops comes back. If anything positive that happens because of what happened when he first came here, and I am thankful that Mike was here, right? See, when somebody leaves, you can sit back and look at the overall picture. Mike, since we're talking specifically about this situation,
Because you go on the same line I'm going.
Mike helped put us back on top. People can never forget that. Never forget that. He helped put us back on top. But when he came back, Venables had to go. It had nothing to do with his acumen, had nothing to do with his job performance, had nothing to do with anything. Anything positive that happened, Mike's back.
Yep.
He had to go.
It will look like a negative on him as a coach as
Right.
he needed
He
Mike
had
to be
go.
successful.
And now he is looked at almost like how Mike was looked at in the early 2000s, in the early part of the 2000s. We were running roughshod over people. Now Venables is in a situation where he's making a lot of money,
Top 2 D coordinators.
like $2 million or something like that.
Top him and
Earned it.
Him and Aranda, top 2 defensive coordinator, top 2 paid, getting to play.
Recruiting consistently, winning at a big level. So now I'm making $2 million.
Chilling.
All I got to do is handle defense. The head coach, we getting along good, and we're winning at a big level, right? He doesn't have to take a head coaching job. He's still young enough to do it, but he didn't have to. He's making good decisions. Because yeah, you can go be a head coach somewhere, but it not be what you need around you.
He could be a DC. What you're saying is the DC that he's becoming is as impressive as being an HC at East Popcorn State.
It's more. I mean, to cut you off. It's more impressive than being the head coach of a bad team.
Yeah, because essentially he's just the head coach of the defense. Because Dabo really don't tell him anything about his defense. He's a head coach of the defense.
Over
He come
there,
over to high five him. Let's go. Yeah, go back over there.
$2 million.
Yeah.
I mean, don't have to have that headache of being in the meetings all the time, having this head coach thing, have to meet with compliance, got to do this with these kids, got to make sure this is right, that is right, and all. Just being the figurehead. I mean,
And he loves recruiting.
He loves recruiting, man. You get those guys, and everybody's ambitious. Everybody wants to be the head coach and have this, but winning a national championship as a defensive coordinator, getting all these kids into the league and stuff. I mean, you want to go make $5 million and possibly be out of a job if you go to Florida State and can't get the same guys.
Is this his 8th or 9th natty?
It's got to be 8, isn't it?
I think it's 8. I think they said on 8 because 3
National
here.
championship.
Yeah.
3 here, and then 5. Is it 5 there because they've lost 2?
Yeah.
And then
He won 3 here.
No. They played for 3 here.
Played for 3.
Oh,
He's
how
been
many
in.
been
He's
to?
been in
Yeah,
8.
he's been
He's been in 8.
Okay.
But he's been D coordinator of 8.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Because we lost USC, LSU, Florida.
And then
He's 4 here.
He's had 3 here.
No, he was 4 here. He was.
I'm sorry, yeah,
Florida.
4 here. Yeah, correct. So this is 9.
Yeah, this is 9. It was Florida, Florida State, LSU, USC.
Yeah.
Now we got to mention right before Mike came back, it was a little topsy turvy, right? So I think he had the foresight to see much of what you were talking about as far as
Recruiting. And Big 12 change.
Big 12 change is coming.
Right.
The recruiting is changing. Texas is slipping a little bit. I'm not talking about the Texas University. I'm talking about state of Texas is not putting out and Florida to some degree too. Is not putting out as much as it was before. And sometimes you have to have confidence in yourself and foresight.
This shit ain't working out.
It ain't really working out. It's a great job. It's not really working out. They talking about bringing old boy back.
They losing my power.
I can go over there where the recruiting is really
Easier.
good.
Live by the beach.
Dabo, I'm sure they probably had some conversations, some talks.
They get my son 2 scholarships if I want.
Right. He made the right jump.
Yeah. I mean, you look at it, though.
For that moment in time and what was going on, he made the right jump.
It's almost like he's in a
Dream world.
No, it's almost like you go, like, say if you're going to go in high school, you're going to be a high school coach. You don't want to go coach high school and more because it's 3 schools and more, 4 schools and more. Mm-hmm. You want to go coach in UConn, or you want to go coach in Mustang, one school town, and you're 5A. So your pool of talent, your pool of talent is really big, and what you can pull from. Same thing, call out, but they ain't got a lot of people that's around. There's all their schools funnel in right here.
That's right.
So if I'm gonna go out there and do battle with anybody, South Carolina. I mean,
North Carolina,
North
Virginia.
Carolina, Virginia.
I'm from Virginia, all that area.
Am I battling
You
with?
can eat that.
Am I battling with those guys? I mean, Virginia can't. The Virginia getting good kids. I mean, but they getting the leftovers of what South Carolina doesn't. What Clemson doesn't want. The North Carolina kids, they getting the leftover what Clemson doesn't want. South Carolina getting the leftovers of what Clemson doesn't want. And so now he picked from the pool. He said, I got all the best of the guys from here. Let me go and find my one-off somewhere. Right. Let me go find my 5 or 6 here, my 5 or 6 in this state, my 5 or 6 in that state. If I can just go and throw my name and say, hey, I'm Brent Venables, University of Clemson.
You know what else helped that too?
What's that?
Everything he said is true. You know what else helped that too?
What's that?
The recent demise of Florida State and Miami.
Mm-hmm. They
So
killed
when
the state
you
of
don't
Florida.
have Florida State and Miami,
They have killed the state
right?
of Florida.
Now you
And
going
Georgia.
into Florida State and Miami.
Yeah.
I mean, you going into Miami with the Florida State Miami situation. They used to get a lot of those guys.
PJ.
You remember the 01 is the most talented team I've ever seen in Miami. Miami's the most 01's most talented team I've ever seen. They lost to Louisiana Tech.
Yeah.
How does
Scoreless.
Miami lose to Louisiana Tech?
Scoreless.
Hey,
They got shut out. So Florida State, they're in no man's land. Miami looks terrible. They got it rolling. They're winning.
They're walking
Why
into
would he go
Georgia's
anywhere?
backyard.
I
They're
can see
walking
maybe
into
if he wanted to try
anybody's
USC
backyard.
head coaching job, maybe. But where would he go? He's still young enough he could be the head coach.
But there's
down the
only
line.
there's one team in Georgia. There's one team, and Georgia has a ton of kids. They have. I mean, they got
They can go get them too.
They got a bevy of talent, but Georgia can only take so many 5 stars on the offensive line, defensive line, and you still have 5 stars left over for Alabama to come and get. So you're fighting over a bunch of 5 stars right there in Georgia, where those 5 stars that are there, Georgia usually get the top of the pick of what they have there. They very rarely lose.
90% of their team is Georgia.
And they rarely lose on their 5-star kids.
Right.
The ones that leave, they left. I got another 5-star running back I can go and get.
Why is that though, Ruf? Why does Louisiana not lose their 5 stars? Why does Oklahoma lose theirs? That's what everybody wants to know.
Because I mean, you look at it. The one is the SEC thing, right? And then there's the Big Ten thing. I mean, you can say it however you want. What you're putting into the league. If I'm a 5-star DB, I'm going to Ohio State, I'm going to Clemson, and I'm going to LSU, Alabama.
Yep.
And the reasons I'm going there is because what they pumping out into the league are 1st-round draft picks. I mean, at the end of the day, the kids that came out when we came out, it's no more about the Sooners or the LSUs, the Alabama. It's about a business now, right? I mean, go back and go look at it now. Proctor goes to Ohio State because I want to be a 1st-round draft pick. 1st-round draft picks are not coming out of Oklahoma, even though they're passing a lot. They're not coming out of Oklahoma that much anymore.
The Big 12 has had 5 first-round draft picks. Defensively, we've had 5 draft picks in the last 7 years, 1st round.
And so you go to Texas.
LSU's had 6 by themselves.
When Texas was that guy, when they had the Vashers, the Griffins, and those guys. I mean,
bingo.
It was, man, those guys are all 1st-round draft picks. Right. I mean,
when Texas ain't shit, this conference ain't shit.
Right.
So Ruf, if the rumors are true, let's just go ahead and get into it.
But you lose Nebraska, you lose A&M, you lose Colorado, you lose Missouri. And so now you substitute those teams with West Virginia, taking nothing away from West Virginia, from TCU. I mean, they're not a big school. It's TCU. Right. And so you lose those other big schools and you replace them with, 2 schools, all we did? TCU and West Virginia, that's it. That's all we got, right? Yeah. And you lose 4 schools and you replace them with 2? What? How does that even make any sense? How do you continue to have a fertile recruiting ground whenever you lose those kids and you lose that big rivalry against Nebraska?
Bingo.
You lose that rivalry against Texas A&M. Kids going there in the Houston area, you lose that Houston area because you don't have that swing where I go play down and play against Texas A&M and my family can come to that game, but then they can drive up and go to Dallas and watch me play against Texas, then drive up to Waco and watch me play against Baylor. And I may go out to Lubbock and watch them play against Texas Tech. Their parents get to watch them play 4 games in that year, and then most of the time they'll come up to Norman and play against other Texas kids and their friends and stuff. You don't have that's gone. That's out in the wind. So now here you are playing and trying to recruit. What fertile ground did West Virginia bring you?
Nothing.
What fertile ground
would've
did
rather
what,
had
what
Louisville.
fertile ground?
Well,
Yeah, what
let's-
fertile ground did TCU give you?
let's-
You already was in Texas.
Let's talk about this. Now, the rumors were, and this is what I just saw, the rumors were that the SEC wanted us in Texas,
Yeah.
but that we wanted to bring OSU with us. If that's the case, I've already told my son I'm going to cuss. Fuck.
Listen,
Okay,
can
we missed the bus, but we about to fuck around and not have a school, is the analogy that I used. Go ahead.
Listen, okay. I moved here when I was in high school. So I'm originally from Virginia. So I didn't grow up here technically. I'm not putting my future in somebody else's hands. I understand, and I talked about this with you off camera. I've never looked at OSU as a rival.
Neither have I.
Never look, and it's no diss. I admit, I lost to him once. No doubt. I'm not coming here like I won 1,000 games. But what I'm saying is, I get that people want to, show OSU some respect. They've done a good job with their program, making it more consistent. I give them that. Mike did a good job with the money that Boone and them brought in, and they got a little more consistent than they were, right? But they still, 2-13 now against us? So why would we not take that advantage to get in that area where there's so many athletes? Every school can only get 25 still, right? So if they can only get 25 and we go down to the SEC, we're going to get a higher caliber of player, piggybacking off what you just said about family members, how they can see in the region that they're in. But you're so focused on keeping this relationship within Oklahoma about OU and OSU and trying to make sure you don't make OSU people mad because they got some money over there and there's a lot of business that goes there. Listen, OU needed to do what was best for OU. And OU didn't do that.
What kids you want to go and get though? Where's the meat and potatoes of kids? Where's the meat and potatoes of kids? It's down south. So you go Mississippi. You can't really get Mississippi kids because you don't play in Mississippi, right? You don't play against Ole Miss. You don't play against Mississippi State. You don't play against Alabama. You don't play against Auburn because if you play against Alabama and Auburn, you go and you get Mississippi kids will come because you get to play Alabama, Auburn, Mississippi State, Ole Miss. That's 4 schools that's like maybe in a 2-hour range of where they're at. Because the bottom of Mississippi is an easy road trip there, easy road trip to Louisiana. If you're going to play against LSU, still you can get Louisiana kids because you go back, you play LSU, Ole Miss, Alabama. That's nothing but a 3-hour drive from Louisiana going that way, or a 4-hour drive going to Alabama or something that way. It's the opportunity of getting other kids to come there because they get to go play and see their family gets to see them is big. Even Tennessee has a fertile ground of recruiting.
You open your recruiting base.
Yeah, you got Vandy, you got Tennessee that's there. Right. Even if you're on that upswing of states of top ones, you got to play, and then you still get to go play against Georgia and Florida. So you get that swing of those kids if your Oklahoma is on the top side of it and Texas stay at the bottom. You just the ground of what you can get is just so big, and we just stay small because we're the big shark in that. In that one, we're the biggest damn shark in the Big 12.
Nobody wants to come play on Fox Sports Southwest.
I thought that there was a fear at that time of going to the SEC. I've never been a conference guy. I never will. There's never been a day that I saw a team in the Big 12 win and I was happy. I care about OU.
Yeah. So, every day, all day.
That's it. Now, I watch all games. I can enjoy different teams. Like I just mentioned, 01, the best team I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But I wasn't happy when they won. I just saw the talent.
What's the fear?
I think the fear is, and I'm not saying from the school. I'm saying from the people.
Fans, yeah.
The fear was, and people forget, if they want to play the conference game, the Big 12 was the best conference in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
And we was housing it. Right? Multiple national championship opportunities, running the conference. So when there was a best conference in the league, in the country, OU was on top of that for the early part of the 2000s. But the issue is, I think some people were scared.
Yeah.
I don't think that they had the long view of what it could do, right?
Right.
So if you got, let's take now. You got Lincoln that has offensive proficiency. You have Grinch, who is 1 year, but I did see a difference.
Yeah.
So if you put that young combination together, right, and then they can recruit. Listen, We get into these Final Fours. We need you. And guess what? Your mom, your dad, your aunt, your uncle can come see you play 3-4 hours away.
Right.
You can recruit to that. But I think there were some people that were saying, if we go down to the SEC, maybe we don't win as much. Alabama and this and that.
Sure.
Let's stay here. And we can have a good record all the time and maybe get to the national championship. That's not a winning mentality.
Not at all. And
that's not a winning mentality.
Did y'all see the
and
new...
I'm not talking about the school. I'm talking about people.
People, yeah.
Right.
That's not a winning mentality.
Did y'all see the new TV deal that's coming out? The new Disney
200,
ESPN?
yeah.
How much was
I think
it?
it's 200-something million, I think.
Okay, and where does that money go?
Go to schools.
So the SEC schools, or what you're telling me, are about to just fucking be laying in money for the rest of for however long until they're broadcasting. So when we go in, if I'm an SEC, here's another thing. One, you and I have coaches on every staff of the Final Four. Mike Stoops at Bama, Kevin Wilson at Ohio State, and BV at Clemson. We know these guys. So you know how they're going to go sell shit in people's houses.
Mm-hmm.
Coach Wilson's going to talk to you don't want to go talk to them. Yeah, go to Oklahoma. I used to coach there. Hell, they ain't got nobody down there. Blah, blah, blah. BV's going to sit there and tell you, hey, we got every 5-star in America. This is one you want to go. Mike Stoops going to tell you, hey, you need to come to Alabama. This is the guy you want. Blah, 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 blah. They're going to have different. We have the short end of the stick right now. We cannot go into anybody's house. This is fucking hard for me to say, PJ. We cannot go into anybody's house and just say, we are OU right now, and you are coming here. They will sit there and say, hey, we're in the SEC. You're going to the NFL. You're going to play on ESPN. You're going to do this. Hey, we're at Clemson. You're going to play the second most draft picks and blah, 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 blah. Hey, we're at the Big Ten Network. You're going to come play Ohio State. Hey, we're at OU, and Texas is bullshit right now.
I'm going to go play the Red River Rivalry. With
a bullshit Texas team that's right now. With teams that aren't producing the first round picks like that. With teams that are. So my thing with what you said, PJ, is about long-term security. It's about these recruits. And Rufus speaks to this, and you can speak to it too, okay? I love Oklahoma to death. Oklahoma ain't no football state. We're getting there. Louisiana's a football state.
Yeah.
Alabama's a football state. When you play LSU, them motherfuckers show up Tuesday. They show up Tuesday in the restaurants. You play Kansas, they fucking show up right before the game. At Bama, they showing up Monday.
The thing, and also you got to go and you look at it where you watch Alabama's teams, right? Alabama high school plays on ESPN, right? There's one I forgot the name of the team, but they play every year. Hoover. They play a Florida team
Mobile or
on ESPN.
St. Thomas
Aquinas.
Yep.
They play a team on national TV. You can watch them. ESPN, national TV.
People standing around the engagement. PJ,
Wait.
the everybody. It's spotlighted.
Yeah, but it's not that. Then you watch Texas football all over ESPN, right? You can even get the California kid come and play against, I forgot who they play. They end up playing one of those games whether you play it on ESPN and all that stuff. And Oklahoma you don't have that reach right there. Why you don't have an Oklahoma team that plays against a Texas team on national TV? Texas is right down the street.
So it begs the question, do you have foresight and are you willing to be uncomfortable and get out of your comfort
We're trying. There's a few that'll try.
That's the
Jinx Broken Arrow Union, they try, and some of them been successful. Westmore, the school district I'm in, they actually signed up a game. But
I watched.
Go ahead.
I forgot. I think it was Jinx played against Evangel Christian in Louisiana back in the day. I mean, you know who they play? They play against Brock Berlin and all those guys. Brock Berlin went to Miami. Yeah. I remember that because it was a big deal in Louisiana that an Evangel Christian was playing against those guys. It's big time. You gotta we in such a small pool that you playing against the Texas team, but you're not even playing against the considered elite Texas teams anymore.
And then
Baylor's your team now.
And that's where I go back to, Ruth, and I want you to comment on this, but dude, in high school, and that's where people like, oh, you crazy, all you do is care about. Well, I went to a fucking football school.
Yep.
So we knew what it was like. We didn't give a fuck about anything. We crept our grades right because of football. Like, we was playing football. We was going to win in football. Like, we eat, slept, breathe football. That's normal. If your ass didn't like it, you're abnormal. Like that. But again, Rufus, and I want you to speak to this because traditionally I would think VA up that area, a lot basketball creeps in.
Yeah.
And basketball started to creep in Oklahoma, but I just go back to we need that type of people in Louisiana came to that game knowing that they was going to win, knowing that their kids had been engaged in football since their asses were
But they're tough, man. They came in with a tougher mindset.
Exactly, Roof. They came in knowing that they played D tackle, D end. They were eating people alive. Randy Moss's son was a tight end. Like, go ahead.
You look at this, man. I'll put it to you this way. I've been around Oklahoma high school football and been to games and all that stuff. Y'all go back home to Louisiana and watch kids in Louisiana and how they work. It's a different mentality on how they work, because you go to Carver, which is in New Orleans, or any of these other schools that's in New Orleans. These kids don't have the personal trainers. They don't have the Xbox, the PlayStation, and all that stuff. They coming home, bro. It's bro. Yeah. And I've said this on the podcast when I was with Roy. When I was in high school, I worked out 3 times a day. Right? So I woke up early in the morning and I went and worked out at LSU. I went work out at the University of LSU with the strength and conditioning coach, because my best friend, his uncle, was one of the strength and conditioning coaches, and we went in at 5:30 in the morning before they had their 6:30 workout, and we did an hour workout, power cleans, all that stuff, pretty much college workouts. Went back, did a high school workout. Left, went and did speed workout with Coach Chu, who's one of is world renowned for developing speed. We're running levies. Guess who we running levies with? We were running levies with Warwick Dunn. He's come back on the off season and we're running levies on the edges of the bayous and stuff in Baton Rouge. So we snaking levies, cars passing and all that stuff in the heat of the day in Louisiana. What kid you see out here that's doing a lot of that? And that's me. This is me and my homeboy. We're 2 high school kids. Michael Clayton, who went play at LSU, he worked out with Coach Chu, doing all the speed stuff that we had to do. After we do that, we played done doing that. We had some open court somewhere playing basketball. That's 3 workouts, playing basketball, running up and down the court in some gym somewhere. Because we didn't even have a PlayStation. I didn't have a PlayStation, a Xbox. I didn't have a Super Nintendo. I didn't have none of that shit. I mean, I'm telling you, whenever I came home, it was sit down, watch TV, and it's like, well, damn. Coach would come in there, hey, I want these leaves raked up outside. And so we had these big ass trees. They had the pine trees, had these trees that put down leaves all the time. That's why I hate trees to this day. Our mentality was, shit, if you sitting if you sitting on your ass, they're gonna find you something to do. Yep. And it's not sitting in the house find something to do. It's get your ass outside something to do. My mom said I'm about to clean up the house. There's nobody in the house, and you don't come back into the house till the sun goes down. And you better not dirty my house when you get back in, so there's no games for you to sit outside. And I'm not saying that video games is the thing, but I'm saying it's just that the kids, if you go in Louisiana, those same kids that you outside playing with is those same kids you go to high school with. And every day there is 40, 50 kids. There's cliques of kids that play over here on this side. There's cliques of kids. We going to meet up at this Girard Park every day. And we going to play every day at Girard Park. And it's not just kids. It's grown-ass men. Yeah. Grown-ass men out there playing, putting down their beer, and we out there playing the game. You learn how to cuss. You learn how to fight. You learn how to hold your own. You learn how to hold your ground. Right. You can go around the parks in Oklahoma, and you barely see a lot of kids out there. You see adults out there playing, but you don't see that kid, that 15-year-old kid running up in there. That kid's in the gym playing that.
It has to be forced. It has to be a league. It has to be organized. It ain't
that kid's playing at Blake Griffin's gym or Trey Young's gym. He ain't playing for the love of the game. Right. He ain't out there playing against you. He ain't playing against a grown man. He's playing against other teenagers.
But then you also talked about a Roof off the pod, but y'all are growing them big. I want to still get your thoughts on Virginia, but y'all are growing them bigger in Louisiana. Some of y'all's fucking DNs, Marcus Spears, I flipped him off earlier, but that's a big fucking dude. He's from Louisiana.
Bro, I played against Marcus Spears in high school. Marcus Spears played tight end, basketball, defensive tackle. Marcus Spears was legit in basketball.
Really?
What? Man, Marcus Spears could play, dunk on your ass and everything. You go down the line. I played against Glenn Big Baby Davis in high school.
Wow.
Big Baby.
Look at that.
But Glenn Big Baby Davis played linebacker.
Shit.
Dude, at the same size he is, 6'8", 280, 280 something pounds. That man moves sideline to sideline, bro.
about,
I can go get my high school film and I can show you Glenn Big Baby Davis on film, and you'll see an offensive line, a defensive line, and you see a massive man in the middle of the defensive line running sideline to sideline, making tackles.
What about the kid we recruited? He might have been even from your high school or somewhere around there because they had you host him, I think. Herman the House. What was his name? Edwards or something like that.
No, I didn't know.
Was he a Louisiana kid?
I think he was a Louisiana
But he was
kid.
like 6'10", 400 pounds, like as a junior in high school.
Bro, I'm telling you, the kid, this, I don't know how it is and how it was in Virginia. I mean, I wonder how it was as far as, where you're always outside, where you played it, where you in.
Yeah.
Yo, because like, I grew up in the hood. So it was always out. You go to Oklahoma, like say Oklahoma's hoods or whatever. A lot of those kids, you don't see them out. You don't see them anywhere.
No, it was always outside.
It was Herman Johnson. He was a Denton kid, but he grew up in Louisiana, Monroe.
Okay.
So he grew up in Monroe. That's what it was. But yeah, man, just talk about that though. Listen, I think it's all just formulated because again, you growing big, you have a passionate school or a passionate state about football. It usually works out like in LSU and Alabama. Is it that way in VA?
Yeah, I mean, but a lot of it, to be honest, is, growing up in the 80s.
Yeah.
So there wasn't as much
As they have now.
technology, right? So technology helps in a lot of cases now. You can sit and watch plays. You can do study. It's easier to do it. Back then, you didn't really have all the electronics. So you didn't want to be bored, so you would go outside. You'd go play basketball. You'd go play football. We had a thing called curveball.
How many sports did you play in high school?
3.
How many? You played
basketball,
3?
track.
3. Gave up base. My dad played college baseball.
Yeah, but now, go to most schools now. They play
1, 2.
one or two sports.
Right. Now, a good portion of that is on the kids. But maybe a bigger portion of that is what I don't like, is that they're trying to specialize kids too early.
Right.
You need to let them play multiple sports. Because I believe that multiple sports teaches you different things. Okay, my brother played soccer. I didn't. I had good footwork. He had better footwork. He played soccer.
Yeah.
Now, playing soccer doesn't definitively, make you a better athlete, but
Your footwork, you always got to work on.
he got better footwork.
Yeah.
I hope he don't see this. But anyway, he had better footwork. I didn't play soccer. I wasn't interested in it. I tried baseball. I played baseball a little bit, but I was a football, basketball guy, right? But when you play multiple sports, it helps you with different things.
Yeah.
And right now, they're trying to specialize kids.
And you have
And I don't like that.
Yeah,
But they
football-
don't want that smoke though,
But
PJ.
you have football off season. Basketball, I mean, it went football, basketball, track.
That's all
You
I
never
did.
had an off season. And then when track ended, I played AAU basketball. I traveled year round AAU basketball, played that all year long. Still had to go to high school, get my football workout in. Football season started right when AAU basketball. We come back from Florida playing all these other different schools and big ass kids from Florida and different things all around the country. You come back, you have to get in football shape. Start working out doing football. And then bam, this shit starts all over again. Now you got to specialize. We're going to take a little time off and all this and that stuff.
Right.
And I think playing all the sports, right, allowed me to just kind of reset off of football and just start doing some kind of other movement. It allowed me to reset off of track, even though I hated track. But it allowed you to reset and do something else and kind of, when you get back from track, I mean, your start and run is a little bit different because you've been working on technique of just pure running.
Absolutely.
When you come back from basketball, your lateral movement, it is way different than football, and you could move laterally a lot quicker because you got to move your feet to stay in front of a ball handler.
People don't want their kid. My son plays 2 years up in basketball. You said it earlier,
Yeah.
Ruf. People don't want their kids taking losses like that anymore. There's no tough love anymore, Ruf. Stick their ass out there and let their ass get whooped.
My 7th grade team.
All right, PJ?
My 7th grade. My 7th grade AAU team played up 2 years. We played 9th grade as 7th graders. Got our ass smoked. We got in the 8th grade and played 9th grade, 10th grade. Still played up in AAU. We was better. We played better. We got some other kids that was older. And in our team, we competed with anybody. Then when we got in ninth grade and we played against kids in ninth grade, I'm working out football. Dude, my shoulders up here, dog. I get tied up with somebody, dude. I'm throwing somebody across the gym. That's how I felt like. If I got in the tie ball, I'm telling you, I'm taking this ball and we played in Houston. Dog, we played in Houston and we got on the ground, like you know how a ball roll on the ground? Yeah, right. Me and the dude roll on the ground for a ball and I got the ball in my hand and I popped the dude's shoulder out of place. Yeah. Because that's just my mentality was, damn it, you ain't about to get just everything about me, but I played football, so it was like, shit.
Gotta get it.
Yeah, we getting on the ground, bro. It's gonna be a fight. I know what it is in football because it's all about mental toughness and beating the guy right there. And he never played a football down in his life. Little scrawny ass arms, and I'm over here strong as hell in the ninth grade doing power cleans and shit.
You ever play sideline pop?
Oh yeah,
what's sideline pop?
When you get by the grass,
sideline pop.
Wow.
Oh
so
shit!
We gotta have that.
We play sideline
See,
pop.
my brother's 10 years older, so he's old school. So, which was the detriment to my upbringing because all his homeboys used to knock the shit out of me. Yeah,
you play football.
Yeah, I play football out there.
If you couldn't find a football or was you couldn't find one, we play frisbee football too.
Our shit was stick ball. When we didn't have a football, we had the broomstick, tennis ball. And we
did that too.
Yeah, stick ball was my joint, bro.
Herb gives you the J.
My dad used to not make me. My dad would have me. Do you want to play? I said, yeah. So he had me play against his friends. When I was a teenager.
Absolutely.
Had me play against his friends.
Yeah.
I played with him.
That's how we did. We played in the yard with grown ass men.
He picked me first. I always felt good. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You come play with me. And we play. They said, there ain't no excuses out here. Play.
Damn.
So, but I'm talking about basketball.
Yeah.
Play.
Oh yeah, that's how it was. Basketball.
No fear. No fear at all. You know what I mean? So little things like that.
My first fight came on fighting a grown ass man in the basketball for a foul.
Yeah, that's real.
For a foul. Hey, bro, man, you ain't gonna foul me. That's a foul. Nah, young, you ain't getting the ball. Shit, bullshit. Yeah, I am.
You arrive when they finally give you that.
Yeah, when they give you that.
When they give you that one, you playing too good when they give you that one.
Yeah.
Sideline bus, by the way. If you go driveway, grass, driveway, you can't hit me on the driveway. But if your ass get by that grass, it's over. Yeah, I done fucked up.
And in
mad
some fences are
shirts.
too close.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the greatest football game ever. Again, there will never be another tackle the man with football in the middle of the yard. I mean that's where you got to make from one side of it. They just throwing the ball in my stomach. Bah! I mean, I'm 7 years old. They 17. So like you said, by the time I got to 5th grade, my coach is like, "Oh, you the quarterback, running back, linebacker, safety, you everything." You like, what the hell? Oh, y'all got me right there.
Yeah. So I mean, different. I just think, it's not. I don't think it's just an Oklahoma thing. I think it's, California has so much that they can do as far as sports wise and facilities they can go to and all that stuff. The crazy thing about it is I'm in Blanchard, right? Mm-hmm. I have a daughter, but if I had a son as well, there's not an open gym anywhere in Blanchard.
Yep.
So where you go? Yep. Where you go and play with? Where you go and bring your kids so they can develop skills?
And the high schools are locked down these days because everything's different. So you're right. You're absolutely right.
So where do you go?
You move your kids to a Jinx or a Union so they have a chance, and they end up going. The rich get richer, and that's where Oklahoma football.
What happened to them? They kind of fell off.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. They don't have the way they were built back in the day with Kiwan and all them. They were dominant. They were a lot of times our formation, 2 or 3 tight ends. You just couldn't stop them running the ball. They started spreading out a little bit, and they probably some stuff off air for the pod. They had some kids get in trouble, and how do I say it? They're somewhat of a private, and so they've done extremely well. They've done extremely well. They've lost their coach, and I think they had some things going on behind the scenes that aren't the same. I'll just say it that way.
Right.
How does that sound?
I just think you don't have the outlets for kids to go to either right now. I mean, now you either have, like I said, you're in Blanchard. If you want to go to a court, I mean, as kids, how do you call up? You got to call up a group of friends to go and play outside on the court at the park. You don't have to just drop your kid off at the park and let him go play against people. Now, you can't say, well, I'm gonna go bring my kid in the gym and let him develop his shot or whatever, because there's no open gyms in Blanchard. There's not an open gym in Newcastle. So how do you develop skill? How do you get better as players? I mean, even if you want to get better at basketball, if you're playing football and want to go get cardio and play basketball against other people, how do you develop your kid around these places? How do you develop your kids in Norman? Is there an open gym somewhere in Norman?
Well, I got my backyard. My backyard's a fucking gym, and PJ thinks I'm crazy, but PJ, why you think I have my own gym? Now I'm at a junior high. Now I mean, I've seen the shit that he's talking about firsthand. I have to have me an indoor, an outdoor, a place where right here. Yes,
but you see, the thing is, you have to have that rivalry. You have to have that competition in Oklahoma to where a lot of kids and more get better if they open up a gym and say, hey, y'all come up and I'm gonna have a coach to sit up in there, make sure nothing crazy come on. Adults come and all that stuff. Yep. High school kids only, high school and adults.
100-yard indoor, go play football.
Grown men in there playing against these young teenagers and stuff. I mean, hey, get in how you live. I mean, hey, we're gonna pick five. These five come up every time. You just come and rotate through all the time. Mm-hmm. And that's how you develop.
You gotta want it though.
Yeah, you gotta want it. But as a community, you have to get better in developing that, because the community has to understand. Well, grown men and kids gonna play. Well, kids gonna get a little bruised up, and it's gonna be what it's gonna be. You call you fouls and you move on.
Let's stop there, because if I'm a parent in Oklahoma, I just want to pay this quarterback trainer to get me some offers, and then we can just go with that. My son's the next greatest quarterback, and so I'll just pay that. Won't let him play basketball or anything. We'll just sharpen his body up. You know, if he's the next basketball kid, Roof, he doesn't need to run track. I just need him to play basketball. Yeah. He play AAU. He can just go to AAU. His AAU coach says he's great. So that's all we need.
That's wrong. I think they cheapen it though. You cheapen it. You can always get private lessons. Like I said, I did private lessons. I did private running stuff. I did an early workout, but I never was short of, hey, if I told my high school, hey, we're gonna go play at the gym, he would say, he tossed me the keys. Here you go, take the car. Wherever you have, y'all just make sure y'all don't get in trouble. Unlock the gym. We playing all day, all the way till like 8 o'clock. Yeah. Sweating, feet hurt. We done. We out of there. But you don't have, like I'm saying, you got to go around Oklahoma to see.
They have other options.
You don't have those options, and all your options is
they have other options.
Yeah, all your options are now is stay in the house, get private training, and play within your season, or go play AU basketball, get a private trainer. There's no. If you can find me 20 open gyms, or I say find me 5 open gyms in the Oklahoma City area, I'd be shocked.
Yeah, no, I can't. And I've lived here all my life.
And you go to Oklahoma City, where they got all these courts in the middle of it. That's downtown Oklahoma City. Mm-hmm. And there's not a lot of people playing basketball down there. It's not where the kids that need the extracurricular stuff is at.
They're at home playing games.
Yep.
Yeah, that home playing.
The
ones that are walking around the street, selling, slinging, and all that stuff, they don't have none of that stuff down there for them to play. You go on 23rd over there, you'll see everybody walking around in the projects and just chilling
going
by
to
the
grab
stores
groceries and
doing all this and that stuff. Right. They have no outlet for those kids to develop. There's no reason why a coach that coaches at Douglas don't have a really good team, because there's a lot of schools that funnel into
open gym all the time for those kids.
That's
after
true.
school.
They don't have any of that, and it's a shame.
Yep.
I'm telling you, it's a crying shame that they don't have that.
Especially if you love and play sports.
We could do this all day, but let's go to OU, and then we'll hit the national championship game.
Let's do that.
PJ, where do we go from here? OU, what's the future like? Is the sky falling? Do we even stand a chance next year? Do we want to make the playoffs?
I always want to make the playoffs. I don't.
A chance every year. Come on.
You think so?
It's different.
You want to make the playoffs.
Every team's different.
You can't win it if you're not in it.
Yes, sir.
The goal is always to win the national championship. Conference championship is good, 5 in a row, salute. But you want to win the national championship. Not saying you're going to. Not saying it's anybody's birthright. But you want to win the national championship. And the only way to win the national championship is getting one of those 4 slots. So I'm not upset about us making the 4 slots. I knew we were going to lose. I don't say that with pride.
That's real. That's real. We did the pod.
Hey, I feel you.
Some people ain't going to say it.
I knew it was going to lose.
I didn't think we were going to beat them. I was surprised that they blew us out. I didn't think we was going to get. Neither one of us thought we were going to get blown out.
Like I said, I was going to ride or die with Oklahoma no matter what. I just didn't.
I'm riding or die. I was mad.
I thought it was a 14-21 point. I
thought they were going to win by 2 touchdowns.
I didn't think we were going to win, but I was still, man, you have to play this perfect game for you to either have it and make some turnovers and do all this and play phenomenal for you to win. Right. But turnover, but shit, that didn't happen. We turned the ball over.
I like the guy to death, and you can finish it what you're saying, but. Hurts. We mentioned it a little bit. I made the comparison. I love Russell Westbrook, but to me, if I know I'm throwing the ball 50% of the time, which we threw the ball, I think 54% of the time the other night, too much.
Yeah.
Too much. If we're only rushing for 97 yards, the 46% of that run game is not good enough. That's fucking 2% per run. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Every run, 2 yards. Where my thing with Jalen Hurts is, and if I was a scout, I would have to look at, and y'all can answer me this, how many games does he truly make more than 2 people on the offense better?
Shit.
To me, as a quarterback, if I'm throwing the ball 50% of the time, PJ, you going to get yours, you going to get yours, you going to get yours, and I'm going to get mine somehow. But I'm going to be creative about how I get mine. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to be the same way every time. But to me, it's like, okay, zone read, I'm going to get mine. Okay, you got one, like you said the other day. You got a long run. Okay, it's my turn. Yeah, it's my turn now. Okay, you get one, now I get one. Now you get one, now I get one. I mean, I don't think for the offense that we run this, we got to get the Spencer Rattler deal. But to me, that's why he put fucking Spencer Rattler in. He wants a guy that can get the ball around to different people. That's the offense that we run. And Jalen hasn't done that. When you said connecting on some of those passes, dude, Justin Fields last night, did he miss on a pass? Beautiful. My man was stayed in the pocket, just hitting outs, hitting hitch, hitting slant, hitting go. And if I feel so bad for Kevin Wilson, if the fucking bender just bends, he's got a good call. BV's guy makes the play, like you say. If BV's telling
he
his
was
old
driving
guys,
on it. He was driving on it, and it'd have been an incomplete pass, and you had another chance.
In the old days, BV's guy would have stayed his eyes on that guy and would have went with that guy to go make the play. New BV lets his players play. That guy takes his eyes to the ball and just goes make a play.
So I got a question. It's gonna make some people mad. Was Fields signed to Ohio State?
He was. Oh no, excuse me. He was signed to Georgia and then transferred.
Okay, so what's the last starting quarterback we signed?
Who would have been? Landry.
Trevor Knight.
Right before
Trevor Knight, yeah.
Trevor Knight. Eesh.
That's the last one we signed.
Yeah. That play.
So we are they're doing a good job of catching up by getting Baker Mayfield. We didn't know what he was going to be, right? And if they did, they'd have signed him. Mm-hmm. Right? So A&M had Kyler. Obviously, his legacy. His dad was one of their greats. Baker did a great job. Kyler did a great job. And I thought that Jalen had a nice setup, 7 games. So the question is not necessarily Jalen is easy. Everything he said is right. At what point are we going to start asking questions I think needs to be asked? I am so happy that Lincoln Riley is our coach. I am. But we have to be able to ask questions of our coach too. To me, it seems sometimes like it's taboo. Don't say anything about anything I say is because I love that program.
Right.
Good, bad, and different.
But to your point, no, go ahead. To your point, if Mordecai leaves, don't we only have one quarterback on scholarship?
They're supposed to get this Morris kid.
Who?
Supposed to get.
So
I'm just saying.
I know. But what I'm
PJ's
saying,
not with it.
What I'm
PJ's
saying,
not with
what I'm saying is this: it's easy to hit Jalen. It's easy, right? And people will compare Jalen to Baker, and they'll compare him to Kyler. He's not on their level.
No.
And what we also have to acknowledge is those two guys had 4 NFL linemen.
Yep.
They had Hollywood Brown and Mark Andrews.
Real.
Correct.
I'm not making excuses for Jalen. He made bad decisions. He started off really good. He made bad decisions. But what are we if he didn't come here?
That's real.
And why do we have to keep having 3 transfers in a row? Why don't we, with this run we've had in the 2000s, I'm not living in the past, I'm talking about just this era.
Have our next.
Why don't we have the next 1 or 2 guys here and you feel confident? Because if you thought Rattler was the guy or Mordecai, they would be starting. Because if you think it's close, you start the young guy because he's going to be here longer. Isn't that how it usually is?
True.
So you didn't think it was close, which means we didn't recruit the right guy. Or he's the guy down the line, we didn't have a filler. So that's what they did is they brought in Jalen to fill this year, thinking Rattler or Mordecai would get some experience, maybe play a little bit, but have a grasp of the playbook, a grasp of who they're playing with, and then the following year. So if you have that, that's a nice backup plan. To bring him in to hold the spot until they're ready. That's a backup plan. Am I wrong?
You're right. I look.
So that's my issue. I'm not knocking Lincoln Riley. He is a very good offensive coach. At what point, any coaches I've ever seen in college, they were responsible for the offense and the defense.
Yeah.
The last couple of years, because Mike Stoops was here, it was easy to hit Mike Stoops.
Bam, hit him upside the head.
Hit him. I hit him.
Yeah.
I hit him.
Everybody did.
Hit him. The head coach is responsible for everything that happens. Everything that happens. This conversation I'm having is not leading to firing, leading to him going to the pros. I am saying we must all get better and not just throw it on Jalen on his way out. We don't have the O-line. We will.
They're young. They were young.
Venables really good. We don't have the O-line, D-line, secondary, or linebacker core. We got a
Running
guy
back right now either.
Right? So we don't have the pieces we need to win that game. We're really good to get there. We don't have the pieces we need to win that game.
Yeah.
So if we don't have the pieces we need to win that game, who do we look to? The dude that's about to leave, who was here 1 year?
Well, everybody still, people
Who do
still
we look to?
People still blame Mike. I said on Twitter they were still blaming Mike because I guess it takes years
He
to
got,
blah blah
he
blah.
got
blah,
to get
blah.
some of that blame.
Sure.
He gets some of the blame, but
Not all. He gets some of that blame.
But you look at Mike. Mike came in here and tried to do pretty much. He recruited to win the Big 12.
and that's the problem.
Not to win the whole thing.
You gotta win. You gotta
But
recruit for the national championship, not
but
the Big 12.
big-
If you're good enough to win it all, you're good enough to win your conference.
Coach Venables did the same. Coach Venables started that trend. He started that with the striker and the guys that was fitting on the outside. He went small on the inside. He started the trend.
Yep.
Everything went to a smaller, faster defense.
Yep. Corey Nelson's of
Corey
the world.
Nelson's and all that, because Corey Nelson was an outside guy.
The Travis Lewis linebackers.
Yeah, we went light. He went to defend the spread because he couldn't get out of the Big 12 unless you could defend the fast, super pace offense. And that's where, that started. And then Coach Stoops come into it and figured the same thing. I got to fit this fast paced, high octane offense type situation. And that's what he had to defend. And they went to that small thing. I'm with you. You prepare the big guys to play against that, and you win those games, and you figure that you figure it. I think you figure it out with the same caliber of players that you have, and I think he's done that at Clemson whenever he's played against spread offenses, because he said, you know what, I'm gonna still keep my big guys in. If you can't block them, and I man up on you guys, you can't throw it quick to the outside anymore.
Right.
You
So
can't do those things.
He learned a lesson from here, but also, who does he have on his team?
You talking about BV now?
Yeah,
He got
a crew.
He got a crew.
right?
And they got more coming in.
And they got right. So my thing is this. Again, Lincoln Riley's dope. I love it. I love that he's here.
I'm
I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan. I want him to stay here more than go help my Cowboys. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm here first. That's my first loyalty. But we have to, if we're going to get to, and not just us people, if we're going to get into this conversation of what's wrong, we can't leave him out.
No, you can't. I'm with you, and I thought
And this is not attacking him. I'm just saying it's so easy with Hurts.
it's so easy to go.
We
on
don't
Mike.
have the guys we
it's
need to win those games.
It was easy.
And
To,
if we don't, who's responsible for getting them?
yeah, because
That's
everything.
my only question.
Everything
because
fell
we're
on Bob.
looking bad when we get to these games because we don't have the caliber to win that game.
Because everything fell on Bob when Bob was here.
Yep.
Even when BV was struggling, it fell on Bob. Bob needed to make these decisions and all that stuff, and he made the fires and all that stuff. And I'm with, on the whole, how we don't have that next quarterback here. I went to 2-a-day practices. I told JD whenever JD know, and I told him personally, like, look, if we gonna run this certain style of offense, this is gonna be your guy. And I said, if we're going to do this other style of offense, they're going to have to change everything that they do. And I said, if they wanted to run the style of offense they ran with Kyler Murray and Baker Mayfield, Tanner Mordecai had to start. He had to be your guy because he threw the best deep ball. He threw the best on-time ball, all that stuff. He threw a better ball than Jalen Hurts did. He stood in the pocket more than Jalen Hurts did. Spencer Rattler came too late. Whenever his first 3 days or 2 days, bro, ball didn't touch the ground. Everybody called the ball.
You get a touchdown. You get a touchdown.
Before the players even came out of their break, the ball was right there for them to catch. Easy, nice, catchable balls. But then Grinch started moving the defense. He would go from one coverage to the next coverage. Shit that you don't see in high school. And his brain went poof.
And that's why I think he brought Jalen.
Yeah.
To a guy that is experienced, he's mature, he's a leader, he's played
And
in big games, and you give Mordecai or Rattler, whoever they were thinking at that time, to have a whole year to learn the playbook, comfortable.
I'm throwing the reins to Mordecai because Mordecai already had 2 years. He spent time under Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray. He should have been look. Where was Oklahoma's strength at?
This year?
Yeah, offensively.
Running the ball.
No, what was their strength?
Oh,
that's what Jalen
quarterback
Hurts.
run game.
No, that's what Jalen Hurts in the game.
Oh.
What is the strength position on this team?
Wide receiver. Right now, it's shit.
No, but still, wide receiver. You had CeeDee Lamb, Calcaterra, Charleston Rambo.
Yeah.
You had
You
had Willis. You had all these guys, but didn't have a guy to get the ball to. Your quarterback could not throw a deep ball. How many deep balls did that man connect on throughout the year? If it wasn't crazy wide open,
3 or 4.
How many of them were where CeeDee Lamb had to make some amazing catch, or CeeDee Lamb make 5-6 people miss right here and take off and run to the end zone? There was a lot of those. Mordecai, hey, look, people didn't get to see it. And whenever they did the spring game and everybody was like, "Oh man, Jalen Hurts looked so good." Jalen Hurts threw against a lot of walk-on cornerbacks and all that stuff. And Tanner Mordecai played his receivers were CeeDee Lamb, Charleston Rambo. They played one snap of the spring game, one, and then he was throwing to backup guys the whole entire time with a makeshift offensive line that was of guys that really wasn't that good. And it was set up for him to fail in the spring game in front of people. But whenever you saw it in practice, bro, there were practices that was like, shit, man, he may be the third string guy. This guy, it may be Mordecai, Rattler, Jalen. That's what you saw throwing wise. When it came to running an offense, now Jalen Hurts, because of he's a big guy, he runs through the hole. He doesn't make a lot of people miss. Shit, I watched Trevor Lawrence out there last night. He probably faster than Jalen Hurts in the open field.
Yep.
Because that man, he got some giddy up to him.
Long stride.
Okay.
So
prime example is quarterback play in Georgia, Louisiana starting to kick everybody's ass, Roof. Because here's the deal.
How come they can't keep their guy?
Well,
Georgia.
Well, great
question.
question.
Because their best ones is leaving.
Well, because that's what Rufus said though. He said everybody, all them 5 stars, or everybody's fighting for the 5 stars over Georgia. You get one guy at quarterback, and then everybody's fighting over Trevor Lawrence, Deshaun Watson,
but
fucking
Ohio State's
Vandegrift.
got the better Georgia quarterback than Georgia.
True,
Yeah.
very true.
But I mean,
But Ohio, and then the kid out of Ohio moves down to LSU, which is Burrow.
But you look at Burrow. Burrow couldn't play because you had JT Barrett, you had all these other guys that was right there. They had a crew. They had a crew of guys.
They got robbed. Like I said again last night. They got robbed last night.
You had the Martell kid that left. You got to forget that Martell kid was there as well. JT Barrett. I mean, you had the 12 gauge guy before then. Then you had the Braxton, whatever his name was.
Braxton Miller.
Yeah, Braxton Miller. So you had a group of guys to where Ohio State wasn't hurting for quarterbacks. They couldn't keep Burrow because Burrow got hurt. So Burrow left because you had another guy and they said he wasn't going to start. Then they bought Justin Fields and shit. He's like, damn, the writing's on the wall.
Gotta go.
You got to go. I mean, but he was gone. He was gone a few years before that.
I really think that Jalen thing was looking at the offensive lines. Got a young group.
I'm gonna live and die with my same offense and I'm gonna get because I think it hurt the running backs more than it helped them.
Yep.
No. I'm not co-signing it.
Yeah.
I'm saying what
That's
I
why
thought they
why
were
they made
thinking.
the decision.
I'm with
Yeah.
you. Do what you do and do it well.
They hurt the growth of their running backs, and it just hurt the offensive line because the offensive line had to change kind of who they were a little bit.
I totally agree. I'm not saying the way they did it was the exact way.
Right.
But if this was their plan, and it looks like it was by the decisions that they made,
Right.
you don't know necessarily what your offensive line is going to be. You know you have some talent, but it's not developed yet. So maybe you want a guy that can run and kind of create mismatches in the run game.
Right.
Right?
Right.
A guy that has some experience, a guy that is mature, he's a leader for a young. I'm saying, I would have gone with the best quarterback.
Fuck that.
Whatever that is.
I'm going with the best throwing guy.
Right.
I got running
to
back.
me, the best quarterback's going to be the best throwing guy.
Hey, I recruit running backs to run the ball.
Me too.
I didn't. When Baker Mayfield
So
was
what
here,
other reason?
I didn't recruit Baker. When I took Baker Mayfield here, I didn't tell, hey Baker, I want you to do the zone read and I want you to run the ball.
So what other reason were they starting for if that's not what they wanted?
But I know that's what they wanted. That's what they wanted to do. They thought he thought he could have made him a better the pedigree of Jalen Hurts, winning a national championship, coming from Alabama.
Right.
seeing what he did against Georgia and how he threw the ball against Georgia, you figure, well, you know what? There's some hitches in his throws, but there's some things that I can fix as
Absolutely,
we
he's
go.
a winner.
And he
He's
looked
a
good
winner.
for the first 6
Yeah,
weeks.
but I can fix some of the things that he had, and the things that he had problems with, you could
Couldn't
not
fix.
fix. He
came
did
back
not
up.
have the deep ball touch. He did not throw on time. He just didn't have those things. He threw 2 or 3 routes really good. He threw a good 7 route, and he threw a good 1, 2, 3 step slant. If he moved out, he can throw that coming across a little bit on the move.
Right.
But after that, I mean, it was
Average on the
Av-
comeback, average on
average on
fade,
everything
average
else.
on.
And I
So who's
saw
responsible for the ultimate decision of who started?
Lincoln Riley. And
And-
I looked at that
Go
and I
ahead.
said, and like I said, I've told it to a bunch of people, and I said, and I argued with Gabe Eichert, and when they all first started, he said Lincoln Riley is not gonna change his offense to fit no quarterback. Jalen Hurts is gonna have to throw the ball on time.
Okay.
And I looked at him and I said, okay.
Yeah.
Because that man has to change his offense for that man to start. And when the season started, QB power run game and all that stuff, Jalen Hurts taking the ball, tucking it, had a built-in draw whenever he dropped back step, running back goes through, guard leads up and goes to somebody else. It was all built in for him to succeed. It hurt the growth of the guard pass blocking because what the guard think? Well, I'm a drop 1, 2, ball's not throwing, I'm going up right now.
You done told your running backs they're gonna get 30 carries a game. Them boys went to fullback, 30 blocks a
30
game.
blocks a game. It changed. I mean, Sermon.
I hate it when Sermon goes.
Yeah, Sermon. It changed. It changed for Sermon. It changed for Brooks. It changed for everybody. And the movement of the running backs, I'm telling you, the running backs regress. The offensive line regress because everything had to change and how they move. And then they're gonna have to relearn something different next year because this young man, Spencer Rattler, is gonna be a pocket guy.
Yeah.
You saw it whenever he was in the game and he got flushed from the pocket. He ain't running. He moving, boom, threw a ball perfect though on the run right there to your wide receiver. He needs to catch that and make a first down for him. He didn't make that because they're not used to a guy being able to learn, see how he is, and then boom, fling the ball sideways. I mean, Jalen Hurts didn't have that touch, didn't have that feel. He over there hitting people in the head with the ball.
Yeah.
He's trying to throw an overpass when he should be slide arming for a guy that's coming at him like this.
Man, of the 4 quarterbacks, I hate even saying this. Of the 4 quarterbacks in the bowl games, it was clearly apparent that Jalen's not a pocket passer.
No.
Fields impressed me so much with his
the other-
pocket
They got
presence.
robbed.
The other 3
They
were
did.
really good.
They are.
Yeah.
You're right, but the gap of how good they are.
But PJ, what's he supposed to be though?
Who?
Aren't you as a quarterback a pocket passer first?
Jalen, he's not.
That's what I'm saying. But
you
shouldn't
knew
he?
that,
Not.
bro. You
We knew that.
You knew that from.
That's what I'm
day
saying. They
one.
didn't believe in somebody to start him. That's the only thing, right?
This is the reason why. Because Tanner Mordecai would throw a pick here and there. Shit, Jalen Hurts came in and he started doing the same thing, fumbling the ball as well.
That's why I think he wanted to give him a year to get comfortable with the offense, all this other stuff. Feel like this guy can lead us. I can figure it out, and then next year. And I'm not saying that was the right thing to do.
You're gonna see Mordecai going. I'm Mordecai. I'm in the transfer portal right now.
Today?
Yeah. I'm in it right now. I'm not gonna come here and be here for 3 years or 2 years and sit there and then even though we getting our ass kicked, you ain't gonna let me get into the playoff game. Yeah. I'm out, man. I'm out.
He in the right.
I'm dipping. I'm out.
Right.
See, this is what happens. If a player is at just any school, I'm not even gonna mention us. If a player's at a school,
Especially quarterback.
a quarterback, you most only play one. I mean, Spurrier kind of played with that in the 90s. He did a couple, but everybody else usually sticks with one.
I'm going to Texas.
So if you're not
Mordecai.
that one, you got to go. And nobody can get mad.
Good call.
If you're not going to play me, you can't get mad or leave,
Right.
right? So he got to do what he got to do. Yeah.
I-
I'm not going to be mad at him.
I like I said, and we all can sit here and talk circles around the Jalen Hurts thing, and it's not nothing negative. I just thought, look, the young man has a good skill set. He has a good skill set as far as running the ball, and in the league that he's in, and the way the game is right now, it can't be the only thing that you're good at. Fields could run the ball, but he can sit in the pocket
he can sit
and
down
put
and
it
you apart
and
on
pick
the
you
money.
apart and put it on the money.
What did you think of that last play?
But Burrow,
I'm going to cut you off, but
Burrow the same way. He could run and get out of the pocket, but his eyes was downfield and he could make the throw on the run, deep route where it's on the money, right where it needs to be. Same thing with Lawrence. They use Lawrence heavy in the run game, but if he needed him to sit down in the pocket, man, to throw the ball on a dime.
Who's better between those two to you?
Which one?
Clemson? LSU. Who got the better quarterback?
LSU got the better quarterback.
Think so?
I think so, bro. I think LSU has the better quarterback. I mean, watching Burrow throw the ball. I mean,
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful, and it was all where it needs to be. The placement was on the outside shoulder, the safeties on the inside. He put the ball where the wide receiver can adjust and make the catch right here. His slants were right where it needs to be, on time, where he can turn and make a play, or he can see where the guy's at so he doesn't get killed. I mean, a lot of the thing, and when he needed to evade and scoot up in the pocket, he didn't take off right or left. That man scooted up, slide rule out to the outside,
Smart.
helped out his offensive tackle, and
Wide
moved to
open
the side,
throws.
wide open throws.
Smart, high percentage throws, open throws, catchable balls, decision making, quick. I value your opinion. I love Burrow. I like Lawrence. I don't want to even say better, because to me, Burrow fits the NFL a lot more.
Yeah.
With the shit that we just talked about, that's NFL. Okay. Now, what I will say with Lawrence is a lot of times the NFL's about, if shit breaks down, we need you to make a play too.
Right.
And that's where I like T.
That's going to be the difference in what team picks or which one.
Right. And so, and then they're a year apart
year
too.
apart, yeah.
So,
I mean, he can't.
ahead.
Did Lawrence leave?
no, because
He got one more year.
3
Yeah,
years.
he got 3 years.
Well, let's talk about that game. We'll end it with that. This shit's been great. So thank y'all both for coming by. Thoughts on LSU, Clemson? Who you got? What you think?
This got the possibility to be a great national championship game. My question is it going to be better than what Clemson and
Ohio State.
Ohio State was?
Ohio State, yeah.
I mean, that's the game of the year, isn't it? So far.
Yeah,
has
so
to be.
far.
I know
They
the
were-
national
that was
championship is going to be
amazing.
the one everybody remembers the most.
That's
That's the
amazing.
game of the year.
I feel
And it's
so
not even
bad for
close.
Ohio State, man.
They got robbed.
I feel so bad for Kevin
They got
Wilson.
We
I
could
saw
even talk
pictures of
about
him
that
and
rule they
Venables.
need to change, but
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
we look at it. I don't even know who to pick, but I like BV. I don't like to pick against BV because, bro, what BV them did to Alabama last year
It was tough.
was tough. And I mean, Alabama had a better team last year than they had this year.
And they put 45
They
on
put
them,
45 on them boys.
I think Clemson gets LSU close.
I think they do too.
Quinn-
I think Clemson gets LSU
They're
close.
battle tested, man. Their kids have known really nothing but winning like that, playing in this game.
Man,
I
they
know
can say
LSU's healthy,
they
but-
can say what they want about the ACC. They don't care about other people in the ACC. They only care about Clemson and having the studs that they have. And that's where I think OU has to get. You look at Clemson. I like Clemson in the game, but I'm not going to count LSU out.
No, it can
But
be whatever.
It can be whatever. I think it's a toss-up game. I don't think it's a blowout like people think it's going to be. I just think BV just knows how to scheme and move guys and stuff. I think Burrow's going to see some shit that
You ain't never seen before.
he ain't never seen before. And then Burrow's also going to see athletes that's going to come at him and the blitzes and the exotic stuffs of it. I mean, it's going to
There's
be.
not going to be that big an athletic difference.
Yes. I mean, they're going to be able to stay with you foot to foot whenever they running these deep routes down the sideline, and they ain't going to give up very many of them.
And they're one of the only teams that'll watch that film and say, we can cover them.
Yeah, we got
we can cover him.
Yeah.
We can tackle him.
Yeah, we can
Yeah,
tackle
we
him.
can tackle him.
Yeah, and I think ETN will probably be a difference maker as well in this game because he can run the ball, and they're going to be able to run the ball between the tackles against LSU.
Line of scrimmage. Who wins the line of scrimmage wins the game.
True that.
And I know it sounds simple, but both of them are so talented and have so many weapons that if you give them time, they're gonna make a play.
Yeah.
You gotta make them think
But their quarterback,
and hit them.
Yeah.
but then the quarterback will sit in the pocket and find that guy. It's not like they go through their read a lot faster. And and you watch OU throughout the season, he just didn't go through his progression.
Well, and here's the deal, Rufus.
It was so slow.
Right.
And by the time this guy comes back to being open, he was already on the sideline.
Rufus, true or false? These two teams that we're playing, that we're going to see, are the fastest blitzing teams in college football.
Yeah. I mean, and I don't think
Oh my God.
I don't think LSU's a faster blitzing team than Clemson. Clemson's a way more faster blitzers because they do it more often than LSU does. LSU just plays a lot of times just crowd the line of scrimmage. But Clemson, they come in, hey.
Could that be their Achilles heel though?
Yeah, because
You know what I'm saying?
You saw Ohio State get some.
That could be their Achilles heel.
But
how did that dude stop his route? I don't.
Yeah.
Well, how did he stop his route?
That's a good.
How did he stop his route?
But you have a as that option, as that read by the receiver.
He felt that safety was inside, so Wilson gives him that
really
freedom. But here's the deal, and you saw Wilson and Venables with the picture afterwards, and they're sitting there talking, and Wilson's just sitting there like this, and Venables like But it was a good call. If the bender bends, he's wide open and at least has a chance to make a play.
The safety was driving and the bender was bending. It was going to be
at least has a chance.
They got the worst they've ever called.
Yeah.
Ohio State seemed like they got the worst.
We got to end with that. The targeting bullshit. I'm an offensive player. He ducked down. A defensive player has a right to come knock the shit out of you.
That was terrible.
A defensive player has a right to come knock shit out of you with their helmet. I would tell my son that.
And that was a catch.
To
me, that was a catch.
Okay,
Which one? The one where the guy pushed his hand down and
I've
he
seen
caught
this.
it, took 2 steps. That was a catch. They should have got the ball.
They're not gonna call it in the NFL, and so I want the kids to get ready. I'm with you. I've seen it so much though.
He caught it.
I know.
Took 2 steps.
I know.
He didn't get a chance to come to tuck the ball away. He was catching it, and the guy was trying to break it up. So if you're gonna do that, there'll be so many times where the defender can come in and do the same thing. I mean, it's just
so we used to have Brian Urlacher, and Brian Urlacher would run your fucking route before you would. And so a lot of times, so say Rufus is guarding me and say like I'm trying to post him up, and we would have NFL refs. They would come out to practices sometimes, and we'd be like, "Hey, why'd you blah blah blah?" Well, this similar play happened to us quite a bit. And so what would happen was the Bears were great about forcing fumbles. Peanut Tillman, the peanut punch, amazing, Hall of Fame for it, damn near. But obviously, Urlacher, they created a lot of Lovie Smith's defenses scored a lot. Their explanation was it's like your forward progress has stopped. And so if Urlacher has me in that position, I'm not going to break out of that because this is a Hall of Famer.
But he was turning up.
Well,
he was turning up, but he went backwards. He was going backwards this way
because the dude was pushing him this way, and so that's where it's different because they're basically saying your forward progress has stopped.
If you had the ball in your hands with 2 steps,
but he didn't go 2.
He's not going.
He didn't
forward.
go in 2 steps, turning going this way. He's 2 steps, and the cornerback
So that's what I
is pushing
say.
him back.
And a lot of the rules in the NFL are made because the defensive players are monstrous, and so you can't just give them the ultimate advantage of okay, when I if I'm catching this and I'm going, if he's pushing me backwards that way. I'm assuming a lot of the players in the NFL, you just fucking stop. Yeah. Like Urlacher's got me like this. I'm gonna just stop because I'm not gonna break that tackle. I'm not gonna catch. So he's just gonna catch it. He's gonna try and knock it out of my hands. And so my point to it is the refs just don't want to give them a free. They want to give them a PBU and not a forced fumble.
Right. And then the worst part was
targeting.
The targeting is the worst part.
That changed the entire the
was
field.
obvious.
You have to go.
It went from knocking the quarterback out the game to basically giving them a drive for a touchdown. Sorry.
Right. And then you go back. They have to go in the offseason and fix it because you ruin games with star players.
And that game was too good for the refs to decide that.
Yeah, if you have an All-American safety and he comes in to make a tackle and a wide receiver ducks his head as that guy's leaning in the tackle, how do you stop a guy mid-flow of a tackle and tell him, hey, you got to change the way you go down? Or, hey, you have to tackle him with your chest up. If you have to at some point say, wait, look, if he's going to get into a position where he ducks his head down and you get hit helmet to helmet, I mean, that's part of football. You're trying to take a part of football out. You're trying to take a part out of football that's going to always be there because the clashing of the helmet is going to always come.
And
because
you have the equipment to see it.
As a natural,
this isn't just based off of you have the
How
equipment to
else
look
could
at
you?
it.
And that's what here's the they're going to say
natural,
how else.
But your natural instinct is to protect yourself as a person coming.
Defense.
But as a defense, I'm coming to tackle. I'm coming like this. There's no way to tackle running at somebody and try to tackle like this and catch somebody. You can't. There's no way to do that. And I don't care any kind of way you position to tackle somebody, and all you have to start telling them is, hey, all you can do is tackle anybody at the legs. You can no longer tackle at the head. You have to dive at the legs. And so people just start jumping over people all the time. And you got to take away, well, as a runner, you can no longer jump. You can no longer stiff arm. You can no longer do all these things as a pass catcher, as a runner. As a runner, you can no longer duck your head to go ahead and run somebody over. You have to give your body up as a runner. If you're going to go ahead and put the defense at a detriment the way they're doing and saying, hey, I'm going to go ahead and take your star safety out of the game. And as a wide receiver, I'm going to teach my wide receivers every time you get the ball, you see that safety coming. When he comes, duck your head.
Good call.
Duck your head every time. because he has to come in and hit, and I'm gonna get him out of the game. It's a targeting.
Yeah.
Just
They'll
targeting
back
every
up.
time.
You can and keep running.
Keep
Or
running.
tell your quarterback every time he's about to get hit, then
Duck your head.
duck.
Yeah.
Head, duck your head. And I think they have to go in the offseason and relook at this rule and say, look, that changed the complexion of the Ohio State game because you take one of their main guys out, a
And
cover
the
guy.
the penalty.
I
I think it was a second or third down.
the worst penalty was man, I don't know if I'm coming after that kick in the situation that they were in.
Oh, the person,
roughing the
kicker.
kicker. I don't know if I'm coming at, but I mean, still, they have to get away with that. They have to either do away with the rule or adjust it to where you're not kicking guys out of the game.
That felt like
An
the national
ejection is tough,
That's
man.
big.
For one mistake,
That was terrible.
egregious.
They lost every 50-50 call.
Yeah,
They lost every
Yeah,
50-50
yeah.
call.
you gotta judge intent.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
The intent of somebody trying to knock somebody out
And remember, it's football.
Is way different though. If a guy comes in and he dives like this and not even have his hands to form tackle, that's intent is
that's spirit.
Yeah, his intent is to knock your
Buki.
ass out. Yeah.
Buki.
But if your intent is if your hands are here and your head is here to come and make a tackle, bro, that's his intent is to make a football tackle, a play. And you have to go ahead and really be better at judging the intent of players. And I think that'll clean up the rule a lot better. Not an injection. His intent was to make a tackle or whatever. His intent was not to knock the guy out.
Yeah.
If Clemson wins the championship, are they the new Kings?
Yes.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about
They
it.
gonna probably break the Bud Wilkerson record if they go ahead and win.
I'm with you there too. That's some sad shit to realize.
Because
too.
that's
Who's gonna beat them, PJ?
what they had. That'll
So
make
if they
them,
win, it'll
30?
be 29.
29.
So they've got one more year, a year and a half.
A year and a half to break it if they win the national championship.
So they got to go through the
47.
ACC next year.
47.
ACC.
So somebody can beat them, though.
Somebody
Because
can
Lawrence
beat
is
them.
going to be gone.
No, he's
he's gonna be back.
that half a year, and then they've got but great point.
He's gonna leave.
Hold on. And they've got the number one quarterback in the nation from California coming in.
That's all right.
Yeah.
We don't know what he's going to be yet.
Nah, he's nice. It's that DJ ULA
Yeah, that
kid or
big old
whatever.
fucker.
Yeah, that motherfucker's.
Nah,
Hey, listen,
nah,
what?
They won't
nah,
get it.
Count me out, boss.
They won't get it.
I saw the kid. I
They
know the
won't
kid
get
you're
it.
talking about.
One-
He's like
one-
6'5", 6'6", 6'7" kid.
You don't think he's real?
No.
Now, if they,
One,
if
now,
they
I don't know if
win,
it's him, but one of them's going to Clemson, one of them's going to Bama, I believe.
No, that one you're talking about is going to Clemson. I
Okay.
know who you're talking about. The
You don't
big
think
kid,
he's
out, big kid out of California.
All right, Brad,
Nah.
mark
Listen,
that down.
Mark
You see
that down.
He's going to be a
That kid
bust.
is
if they
gonna
win
be a,
this,
he's not going to be
they'll
a
pass,
bust.
they'll
but
pass
he's not
Miami and
gonna be great.
USC for second.
Yeah.
They win this national championship, they're going to get past, I think it was 33, 33 or 34 straight games.
Wow.
USC and Miami were tied.
Tough.
That's tough right there.
It
They
is.
gonna get. I think if they get this, they gonna get Bud break.
I think they will too. They're on a different level with the D line. There's a difference.
giving
I
it
will,
up,
I will end it
You
with
ain't giving
this.
Bud.
I will end it with this, y'all. I will end it with this. Listen, okay. NFL, major college football. Rufus will tell you there's a fucking difference between a number 1 5-star in America defensive tackle and some of the guys that we have.
Yeah, we don't have one. We go ahead and end it at that. We ain't got one on the team right now. Zero, zip, nada.
So
Prove it to me, baby. You gotta, like I said, I'm not like Brandon Shelby used to say. I'm from the show me state. You gotta show me.
So tomorrow, Roof, we go find the some kids that are just foaming at the mouth to play D tackle, to hit people, to fight people, to want to scrap, to want to say, hey, we ain't gonna lose to LSU. They ain't gonna put 70 on us. We're gonna put 70 on them.
We gotta wrap this up. We gotta talk about this off the camera, but I think it's gonna be the off season. What cartels the mentality of your team.
Yep.
And the off
Work
season,
ethic and the recruiting.
the off season will cartel the talent. The mindset of this team and how you approach the games next year, your toughness, your mental toughness, all this and that stuff. And I've been through the mental side of this off season shit after a loss, and it's something that's like
Terrible.
no other. If it's the same as they've been going through from this past year to this year, you're going to have a lot of the same results. Benny Wiley has to change something up about what he's doing
Interesting.
to make these kids tougher, make these kids work harder, make these kids have a dog mentality when they're on the field. Because a lot of them voice it, but some of them, they just, you saw it in that LSU game. When it came from somebody, nut dropping time, shit, that boy, that offensive line.
You know what helps
shit.
that? If you got somebody behind you pushing you.
Yeah.
Are
We ain't
the
got
number
we ain't
twos
got
pushing the number
nope,
one?
Nope.
Now, you should have an inner confidence, inner pride.
PJ,
but
we had to keep our safety in the game He's probably our 5th string safety. We had to keep him in the game. That's all I have to say. We had to fucking keep him in the game. I love the kid. He's an Oklahoma City kid. He tried his ass off. One, our fundamentals have to be better from elementary. If a guy is running a fucking fade, you should make some contact with him and run with him.
We gotta get back to imposing our will on people.
Part of it, yes. Fundamentals, though, PJ.
Well, fundamentals is first.
Fundamentals.
Fundamentals is
Football
first.
fundamentals. Rufus, I didn't play defense. Find the ball.
I was the first.
Find the guy. Find the ball.
First thing Mike ever tell you, collide his ass. Gotta collide that. Collide. That's all he gonna be yelling. And the man didn't collide, bro. Hey, is the man too fast to go ahead and go 3?
I'm with you, PJ. Competition, like you say, breeds success. It's an
good year. I mean, good year.
It was a great year.
Good year. Got to the Final Four.
Really good year.
Really good year getting to the Final Four.
Bad ending.
It's that next step.
Gotta take the next step.
Next
Too many
step.
bad endings. Too many bad endings since kind of.
We get into that stage and looking like we don't belong. Getting to that stage should help us get some of these players. Hey, we can get to the Final Four if we go to, but
yeah, this
the
is
recruiting has
almost
to be
kind
better.
of.
Yeah,
This
this
almost kind
was-
of.
you wanna
kind
get
of like
there.
a kick in the nuts and said,
you want to
hey,
get
man,
there no matter what happens. But you don't want that.
Spencer Rattler got to be the savior.
Do you think? The offensive. Should we even talk offensively? Because offense hasn't been the problem.
Yeah, we need to talk
Yeah, I
offense.
need to talk
I mean,
offense.
is he going to be able?
Offense
to,
was the problem in the national.
It was,
Whoa, whoa,
yeah,
whoa,
it
whoa.
was
What
a
was the score?
problem last.
What talking about?
What did we score against LSU?
Yeah, I'm about
What
to
was
say.
it? 28, 35?
I mean, look, if we have to get in the shootout, we need to get in the shootout. God damn it, get in the shootout.
Right. But I mean, man,
I
they
mean,
scored.
shit.
They threw 7 on us in the first half,
Bro, you got to get in the shootout.
Yeah, I mean,
If you realize your defense can't stop somebody, well, my offense has to be able to be equipped to get in a goddamn shootout, and we were not equipped to be in one.
I'm with you there.
And that's the problem. I mean, when we played against Georgia, we were equipped to be in a damn shootout.
That's very true.
I mean, Baker Mayfield and those, they was equipped to game. I'm gonna get in your ass. You gonna mess with me? I'm gonna mess with you. I mean, that Roquan Smith, one of the best Buckets Award winning linebacker, and we was equipped to be in that shootout.
That's asking a lot though, Rue, for a kid next year. You're saying
that's it.
by Spencer Rattler, either next year or the year after, has to be putting 50 on LSU.
Yeah, he needs
It's
to.
realistic, huh?
Bro,
No, I'm with you.
if you get in that
I'm with you.
situation, if you know
Yeah.
you're gonna play against somebody, your defense can't match up with somebody. Well, my offense got to be equally as talented as their offense.
Now he might have enough talent. That's the other thing, is he might have enough guys around him
Right
on that offense.
but you're
hopefully.
gonna have to be able to get in the shootout if you need to.
You losing
Them
one of
wide
the best
receivers.
to ever play here, though.
True, but PJ, I give you that. There's no doubt about it.
Who?
CD.
Yeah,
But they got them 3. them three can go. I'm not gonna say any one of them will be CD.
Hey, look.
Hazelwood's a man. Trajan Bridges' routes are amazing, and Theo Weiss is a dog with the ball.
I think Theo Weiss may be the dog out of all of them.
Really?
I like it. I want to see it.
I like Theo.
I like Hazelwood. Honestly, I
wanna
like
see it.
Trajan's routes, but when Hazelwood gets the damn ball, he has a lot of that CD to me.
Yeah.
And it's like, catch it, I'm scoring. And whereas Theo, it's like, catch it, I'm gonna bully you, and then you know what I'm saying. Hazelwood's
Gotta-
like, fuck it.
But I like that.
I like the
Each
grown
one of
man.
each one of them was
Right.
confident.
Different.
Right.
Each one was different, but very
Right.
confident.
So, well, like I said, man, thank you guys for going. This is going to be a great podcast.
Still love OU no matter what.
Absolutely.
Yeah, still
But
love him.
we got to say what happened.
Absolutely. Man, hopefully, like I said, I want us to get back there next year, but I think the gap is just widening as we speak, man. I think we've got to get out of this league.
Well,
I think
shit,
we've
who's
got,
gonna be the 14th?
that's the other thing, Rufus, is nobody wants to admit that anybody got the shit beat out of them. What would Wisconsin have done, or Oregon wouldn't done?
Yeah, they wouldn't have done much either.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Baylor.
Yeah, but I'm not trying to be negative, but I'm just saying with the two
With the name we have.
No, not even just the name. With the 2 runs we've had,
Yeah.
the early 2000s up to 08. You know what I'm saying? I had a couple years, but basically up to 08, and then the last 4, we shouldn't get beat like that.
We shouldn't have got beat like that at USC.
I'm not saying
You're right. You're
we
right.
got to win it. Shouldn't get beat like that.
We got to have more first rounders. Got to have more 5 stars. It's just what it boils down to. I mean, we got to get more recruiting. Hey, thank you guys, man. Hey, James. I'm sure he wants to end it. My son will want to end it here
Go
with
ahead
the
and
little
end
Go
it.
Raiders.
Go ahead and end it, man. He's out there on the game, bro.
Get off that Rainbow Six, James.
He on the game, man.
Come here.
He's gone. He's not feeling it right
Come
now.
here. I need you to say Go Raiders.
He said he's not feeling it right.
All right, we'll end it with that. Fullback U.